Defining Duke is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. With over $15 billion recovered for clients, Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Duke or dial #law #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Duke or #law #529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement. Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today, and welcome to Defining Duke, an Xbox resuscitation, bro. We are back to life today. We are so goddamn back. It's not even funny. As always, I am joined by the man fueled by applesauce himself, Lord Cognito. Sir, how are you today?
Hold the line. Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Fresh out of LA, you know what I mean? Doing the remote thing as we do. I told everybody I was talking to, I was like, bro, I would love to talk to you more, but I can't wait to get back to talk to Maddie because we got some stuff to talk about on Defining Duke. So this is fresh, man. I'm straight from the actual Novo Theater where the conference happened, and had some press and some media things after. But I'm ready to talk conference, man. I'm ready to talk, man.
Dude, I am so excited to talk to you about this one. I was thinking about the whole time. There's some real COG games here for sure. And a lot of positive chatter around Xbox. It feels like a completely different era all of a sudden, right? The first party showed out. The third party showed out. Today, we're going over the Xbox Game Showcase for 2023 alongside the massive Starfield Direct that went on for 45 minutes. There's so much to be said about all of this, so we're not going to delay any further. I just want to give a little programming update that our next episode will be recorded on our usual Wednesday. We're going to be back to our typical recording schedule, but this one is going out for free to everybody, patron or not. We wanted to get the reactions out as soon as possible within the limits of our production cycle, of course, and just how quickly we can move. But yeah, we're just really excited to have a ton of great stuff to talk about today. But for those of you looking for the next episode, if you want early access to that, patreon.com, Last Stand Media. Early access hits on Thursdays. Otherwise, we'll be there, free feeds on Sunday. Thank you all so much for your support. Our predictions episode went over 40K on YouTube. Absolutely incredible watching the Dukes do their thing. To think we were hitting like 10, 11K an episode. Y'all have really had our backs, and I just can't express the gratitude I have for everyone who's really been supporting us. So thank you so much. And we also have a new episode of Defining Duke Ultimate up where in the middle of all this, COG, we had what was going on with Redfall, the truth be exposed about the development of that. So we had a 1+ hour conversation dedicated to that as well. So unfortunately, with just the nature of the news cycle, we can't get into that this week. So that's available for all of you to check out now if you sign up to the Patreon. So again, thank you to your support. We'll be there every other week over on patreon.com/laststandmedia. All right, COG. Normally we do a before we begin section, right? Normally we just get into little bits of news. There's none of that though, because all the news is major. So we're going to talk about what games are playing, answer a couple of setup questions from the audience, and just get into this showcase, bro. So, sir, it looks like we've been playing the same game this week. This is rare.
A little bit of Diablo 4. Shout out to Jess Gordon. Finally got a chance to meet the legend himself. So cool, man. But yeah, man.
Hey, tell me, before we even get about these games, I'm sorry. I want to hear more about your adventures. You've been chopping it up with legends across the industry. I'm seeing all these photos. I don't get FOMO easily, sir. But I got to say, there's a part of me sitting here, I'm just like, man, wish I was there.
Bro, you were asked about constantly. Yeah, you asked about constantly. This is my first Summer
Oh,
Games
that's
Fest. I've
excellent.
never done one before, so I had one half of the Dukes represent and then half of IOP representing because Attic was with me. He may come through later.
Nice.
I'm keeping the room for now. But it's dope. Like, just to be a part. I've never done the Keighley, so to speak. So to be a part of that, to see how that was going through. But the thing about this, and it came together last minute. This was something that we really didn't plan, and I didn't know what the turnout was going to be. This is as close to the E3 energy that we're going to get for this era, where you walk down the street, you're in certain venues, you see the who's who literally all in one spot. So shout out to everybody who showed love. Skill Up, Jake Baldino, Jimmy Champagne. I was rolling with a lot. Who names? I mean, the list goes on, man. It got to the point. It was just like I was just like, okay, I can't believe I'm literally right next to Young Ye, and here's this one. It was just so cool to see. Shout out to Paris Lily. Shout out to Xbox. And I will say this before we get into the showcase. Prior to the energy, I've never seen the type of energy the Xbox executives were kind of giving off. Like, hey, we can't wait to know what you think after the showcase. It was very bullish energy, very like none of this temper expectation stuff. Like, you name it. You saw Greeny put up the picture when we actually we were getting lunch. He just happened to walk past. Probably people were like, Xbox paid for those guys. That didn't happen. Stop it. We were having lunch. Greedy walked past and he was like, hey, let's take a picture and that kind of stuff. But it was just cool to see the organic nature of how E3 used to be, where you could be any place, anytime. People will walk past and you would just have this conversation with some of the who's who in the industry. And it was super dope. And the fact is, some people knew who I was. Skill Up knew who I was. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
It better. I talk to my man all the time. He's got to know who Cog is. Yeah.
That's what's up. But yeah, you were asked for a lot. They were like, yo, where's Maddie at? What's going And I will say this, LSM community showed out. Many of people pulled me to the side and was like, yo, I listened to Defining Duke. You guys are my de facto. So at least 5 to 10 offhand went to me and said that. So shout out. Y'all showed out.
Amazing. I'm so happy to hear that, man. It's inspiring. It really is. Yes. I hope one of these years I can go because I don't think I got an invite this year. So one of these days.
We're working on that. They love Maddie out here. Trust me.
We'll see. we'll put it to the test next year. But
no doubt.
Anyway, I mean, I'm so happy for you, bro, in all seriousness. And just a lot of awesome people there to see you connecting with everyone. Really good stuff. So can't wait to hear all the stories that trickle out over the weeks and months. Oh yeah, this happened. I'm hyped for you, bro. So now let's talk about what games are playing. We've both been playing Diablo 4. Man, I gotta say, it's got the hook in me, something fierce. Outside of these servers, which going back and forth on this always online approach this game has. Talk about that later. But bro, Diablo 4 is delivering on every single level. I mean, it's addicting, it's fun, it's fast, it's frenetic, and highly replayable. I started 2 new characters already. I'm doing a rogue archer and I'm doing a necromancer, and I'm just having a blast because each play totally differently, even down to their basic attacks being vastly different. It's incredible to me. It's just so tantalizing to just hop into, whether it's a small session or a big session. I feel like I've done something meaningful, which there's a little bit of recency bias for me. Like after coming out of Tears of the Kingdom, where I feel like I'm just moving with cement blocks tied to my ankles. I'm like, Christ, bro, I just want to make a little progress today. This is the polar opposite. So I've been super impressed. But how have you been enjoying it, sir?
Bro, sorcerer all day. First of all, I want to shout you out. I'm so addicted to it. It's really bothering me now that there is no offline mode.
Yeah.
Because it's to the point like, bro, I'm on the plane and I'm like, all right, yes, I'll fire up Cyberpunk and I'm having fun. Shout out to CD Projekt Red. Y'all think y'all slick. Y'all told me, oh, you're starting that. And then we know about certain announcements that's going to talk about later. But anyway, we'll get into that. But I was fiending. Like all the homies are leveling up. They're getting past me, man. And I'm like, I want to level up on the plane. 8 hours. I can't do it. So that was really getting me. But when I do get a chance to play, the thing I love right now the most is just the build crafting. I started off doing like kind of like this electric lash thing from a sorcerer standpoint that stuns them. Then I had like this flame shield, and I was going into this flame build. But then COG started to get into the ice love. And I got a build right now that synergizes with this kind of like, again, like an ice, almost like an ice shield with these ice shards that does a lot of vulnerability damage at high DPS to a lot of targets. Bro, I'm absolutely loving it. And then the thing I like about just going off into like the random little dungeons and stuff on the side, without even really doing the main quest yet, and getting into my build crafting. I really love the skill trees and the synergies. And that kind of speaks to my Destiny sensibilities as far as abilities and crafting and making things synergize and getting into OP-like builds for different situations. So I'm absolutely loving it. I'm still early, like Act 2, Act 3. But, bro, I love the game. The game is so addicting. It's dark. It's fun. Love everything about this game.
Yeah. And Lilith is showing out. Great villain.
Bro, great villain. The cinematics, the story. Bro, they doing it, man. I love the voice acting. Big time.
Yeah. Voice acting's top tier. The production, presentation, they really nailed it. And like, to me, what I love is how easy it is to respec. So you can, like, when I was playing as my rogue, I was like, oh, of course I'm going to use the 2 blades. It's like my favorite shit, right? I'm like, of course. Like, this is kind of mid. Like, I'm not doing much. Like, it was cool. You had like a dash ability.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm kind of feeling this, but then, man, I'm like, let me try the bow and arrow. And I get this ability called the penetrating shot, and I'm just ripping it down, lanes of enemies, watching them all blow up. I'm turning invisible, guaranteeing myself a crit. I'm taking another penetrating shot. Bro, like, once you start putting it all together with the passives, it's like plugging these like filling these gaps in your build. Such a great feeling. But when you really find that one that clicks after retrying a couple of times, which is easy, you don't got to start a whole new character.
Yes.
It's wonderful, dude. It's truly wonderful.
Bro, glad you said that. The fact that they made respecing so easy. A lot of games really penalize you for that. And I hate that. And this game is like, nope, just 1 point, go to the tree, move it around, do whatever you want. Oh, take this ability off completely, go this route. And I just love that synergy.
Yeah. But really, I'm with you, hoping for an offline mode, because when I start lagging while running around in dungeons, I'm just like, man, this sucks. Like, and it's also, it's one that I just feel screams, I want to play this offline. So like, I'm trying to think of like an example, but just, I don't travel a ton, but like for your example was perfect of like, I want to level up offline, or take it on the go. I mean, that type of stuff, I just feel like this game needs. So I hope they do. I mean, based off what we've heard with Redfall, they're adding apparently offline play later. So it seems like it's a doable thing for some games, where I hope Diablo 4 considers it, because there are these MMO-like elements, but I just wonder, I mean, you could do them on your own. Like, it's not impossible. Right. I've done a ton of events by myself. So
same.
I feel like it could work, but who knows?
Yeah, it's probably the structure, the way things are saved to the cloud, to the server, which allows the cross-play kind of thing. But man, it just screams for a single player offline. And another reason why I'm selfish, like the Allied comes out I think mine's come Monday or Tuesday, and this would have been the perfect game. Just, you know what I mean?
Right. You're right.
Rock out. So that's why I'm selfishly still hoping they push for it.
I'm glad you mentioned crossplay. I had like a COG moment where I remember you saying like, this is what gaming's about. So I was playing co-op with a friend who was on PC and PS5, and I was on Series X. And that's awesome. Like, I haven't really had that experience with a game that I can think of off the top of my head. And that was such a powerful feeling. I was like, I just tell them to buy the game, and that's it. Mm-hmm. And now all my other buddies are picking it up. It's amazing how much of a selling point crossplay is, because you don't have to unify on one system. You can just be in your own setup, wherever that is, because some people have like different consoles in different parts of their house.
Facts.
Just be in the comforts of your setup that you want to play at. All you need is the game. And it's, oh my God, bro, just hopping into all these diverse parties now. Just anyone can get together. I know this is old news for people, but for me, a little single player head, it's like, oh, this is so nice. I love this. So it's one of my favorite parts of the game, for sure.
Agreed. And none of the homies get excluded, right? Because you always got that one guy, he's like, yo, I love that game I played, but I'm on such and such, or I'm on this. And now that's over with. Yo, get down. I love it.
Yep. So with that, those are the games we're playing. Anything else you want to throw in there for Diablo 4?
Not much. That was it, man. That's all I've had time for.
Same here. For me, it's different. Like, you've been all over the place. For me, it's more like, I know today's going to be intense. Like right now, as we're recording this, it's 8:07 p.m. Sunday night. And I recorded 3 videos today. And so I got like editors all over, and I'm like configuring everything. I was just like, holy shit, bro. So for me, I knew I was going to have this type of intense day. So I was like reading all week. I was going full Randall Thor. I'm just like, I'm gonna break open a little book, and start tabbing through it. Really, it was manga. I can't act too intelligent here, so apologies. But anyway, we got 2 warm-up questions to kind of set the stage, and then we'll get into the entire showcase.
Yes,
so let's start off with Meatball. Hey, Dukes, excited to hear your thoughts on the showcase. I'll keep it short and simple. Do I finally have a reason to plug in the Xbox in 2024? Have a play it day one with Game Pass kind of day? So, sir, kind of a setup for general thoughts. This is where we kind of put our grades in. Okay. How did they deliver? That type of stuff. So I want to know, like, do you feel like they provide that reason to play? Do you feel like they sent the right message to the ecosystem who was starving? Do you feel like this was the showcase they needed?
Yeah, it was solid. It was solid. I think for me, it was, I always envisioned this as they couldn't go no lower than an 8 for me because I felt it was set up for them. Now, the question for me was how more can they exceed it? And then also if they execute correctly with what they have. That to me was what it was. So overall, yeah, they hit that mark. Right now, recency bias, I'm 8.5 right now. I'm about 8.5. We'll get into my reasons for my little minor docs here and there.
Am I about to go above you? Holy crap.
You are. Look.
Whoa.
Cog always tries to separate himself. Being in the moment in this theater while all of this is going on, and how amazing one particular game was. And I know you know what we talking about. We know what we talking about right here.
Yeah. It
was one particular game that y'all gonna put respect on someone's name. And that showing right now, I'm still 8.5, but I remember this is our first watch. I have to rewatch. You guys have 4K trail it out. You're in your bag. Y'all broke down. You analyzed. Cog is literally coming out of the theater trying to be as non-biased as I can based on the situation. Because being there just makes it feel awesome automatically, right? So
true.
Right now, 8.5 or first watch. I will rewatch and see if it bumps to 9. But one particular game could influence that decision off a rewatch. That's how amazing that game was.
I feel you. To answer your question, Meatball, I think so. I know there was a lot of focus on 2024, but I got to say, man, this was to me as close to a perfect showcase as you could have got. Now, it had my name written all over it. There's a lot of RPG representation, a lot of JRPG representation. A lot of my favorite series and developers were here. So I acknowledge that my grade will be higher than others, but truthfully, I looked at it much like COG. Like, okay, we have Starfield. You're probably at a 7 already right now, just by the fact that everything else could be CG, awful, and then that could just stand there head and shoulders above the rest. But it was about that over delivery. And it was about recognizing, you know what? 2022, they were starved. This year has been a mess of what felt like a flash in the pan with Developer Direct. And then we get the distractions of ABK, maybe a little bit less sympathetic for that, but Redfall certainly felt like we needed some type of direct apology for it. And with how quickly things moved, we were just a month and change away from this showcase when Redfall dropped and the reviews hit, and then PlayStation Showcase hit, and we knew the pressure was ramping, where we knew they had to deliver. But they, to me, got as close to perfect as they could, because first party was there in spades. We know the outlook now. We know the outlook. And that class of 2018-19 put on a fucking show. But also the selection of third party and what they're bringing to the service. There are some winners here, man, that are exciting unto their own. And it's not even factoring in that they didn't double dip most times. So we didn't see, here's Replaced again. Here's another game that here's another game you've seen again. Like, it was all new, fresh. And when you mesh that with first party, it was a winning formula where, as I go through this list, it is in the order at which everything was shown. It is staggering how many incredible games we got in some sequences in a row. Some of these games are showcases lucky to have as a capper. Xbox had these as just opening ones in the mix. And I got to say, man, I loved it. It reminded me of how I felt about PlayStation's 2013 showcase. Kind
Wow.
of was on that level to me. I'm dead serious.
Okay.
I
Okay,
will
man.
defend that. I don't have to defend it, but like
That's where
I
you
gotta
at. This is
say,
where you at.
that is to me the level it was at. We don't get these showcases often at all. It's lucky we're lucky we get a good one. Great ones are exceedingly rare. To get one like this that just had everything, gameplay, no execs, first party presence, a look into the future, strong Game Pass stuff, some interesting third parties. To me, it was an A plus. I was like, outside of
Wow.
nitpicks
Okay.
that I
Okay.
truly can't, I have critiques,
Okay.
but did they absolutely degrade from the overall presence they had for nearly 2 hours? Over 2 hours,
Mhm.
actually, I think. Hell no. Hell
Okay.
no. But
Okay.
like I said, I do
Okay.
have my criticisms. You'll hear them,
I
but
can't wait. I can't
home
wait.
run. Absolute home run to me. So Meatball, I think so. I think you got a reason to plug it in.
No,
Problem is, for
definitely.
a lot of
Definitely.
people, you might have to wait for those major
Yeah.
pieces. And that is a complaint.
Mhm.
All right, next one we got here is Dakota Brown. Hello, Dukes. Wow, just wow. I am shocked at this showcase. Fable, Avowed, Starfield, Hellblade 2, and even that Star Wars Outlaws game looked interesting. So many great looking games, but I am curious about their release dates. Do you think 2024 will finally be the year that quarterly first party AAA games come out? I know it's been promised for a while, and with the amount of games shown for the year, it would be cool to see them finally deliver. I'm just concerned about more delays as everything seems to be delayed now. Have a Xbox finally has a chance to deliver some great games, and I hope they don't screw it up kind of day. So yeah, we get a look at, among many other games,
Mhm.
Fable, South of Midnight. We get a look at Hellblade 2, Avowed, and this could just be right there, that quarterly lineup.
Yeah.
Maybe even Clockwork Revolution. We'll talk about all these individually.
Mhm.
Um, I know during the press conference, I think we heard something about this. So if you'd like to
Yes.
tap
Yep.
into it,
Absolutely. Yeah. There was a post show thing that I was kind of privy to, kind of like the future of Xbox kind of gaming, where you got, obviously Phil, Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, Todd Howard leadership come out and kind of talk about obviously the showcase itself, obviously the teams and things like that. And then the future of it. One of the announcements was talking about, I believe it was Matt Booty talked about that they expect a cadence, a yearly cadence of four first party games per year. That's what they're shooting for. And I thought that was really aggressive. There was also announcements about PC Game Pass now going to GeForce Now, which I thought was huge, huge deal. So they broke that. And it was just general feel of how like the team is looking at now kind of getting into that cadence of what they expect. And basically a mea culpa for like, hey, we know you guys rocked with us through that Redfall situation and, tough times. And, it was just really cool to see. And hopefully, that we experienced joy watching, that type of showcase. But they had a couple of gems in there. And I was impressed to hear about that kid. And so for people who are concerned about the future, I feel like they did kind of answer how bright they anticipated with now this offering. And Matt Booty specifically talked about that balance, about the, being hands off versus coming in early for help and guidance and things of that nature. Again, alluding to past mistakes and learning experiences. So to me, I thought that was very, very important. And it was good to see Booty talk more, because we always see
yeah,
Phil, and Phil was kind of reserved, but it was more Booty. And I got to get a queen her props, Lady Bonnie, she was out there
of
talking
course.
about, also about Japanese games and relationships and really strengthening that and how they're really excited about, a couple of offerings that we will talk about that showed
Mm-hmm.
up on this showcase that was really impressive. So overall, it was really cool. It was really cool overall to hear leadership talk that way.
Xbox, give that lady a raise. She loves Sega, and it's showing. Give
Big
that lady
time.
a raise.
I can confirm. I can confirm. We had some talk. That's a Sega lady.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Sega
Mm-hmm.
lady. Confirmed.
Yeah, I love it, man. And yeah, I can only hope that's what they're gonna do. That's one thing that it's like I got to take a wait and see. As excited as I am for their approach, and I want to believe in them, they are at the point Xbox where it's like, okay, you have the content. I'm excited about the content. It's about your delivery of it. And as much as I'd like them to become that quarterly machine, if they're doing what they're doing this year, which is, oh, guess what? We're going to get Starfield and then Forza back to back, but it's going to meet that 4-game mark, which is kind of what we're getting this year. I mean, to varying degrees, right? You get Hi-Fi Rush, you get Redfall, and then you wait a little bit, and you get Starfield and Forza. I just hope they don't treat it too much like a machine where they lose the focus on quality. I know it's important where you got to focus on Game Pass and inject that quarterly. So I'm curious how they'll balance that out. But fingers crossed with all the time that's been spent on these games, that they do let them cook if they need to, and that they don't force them out. And that's where third-party deals can really show out. But that's enough setup. It's time to settle into the Xbox Showcase. We're going to go in the exact order that everything appeared for us watching here at home or in the theater, and break it down game by game. So, Cog, we were all wrong. Show opener, Fable from Playground Games. In-game footage, mind you. It was one of those Starfield moments where I got to call cap on some people. A lot of folks were, CG, bro. That was in-game. That was in-game. And Starfield had the same problem in a good way, where the gameplay showed out and they were like, CG again, really? And it was in-game. Now, this has been, I think, the most controversial of the first-party showings. Now, you may have heard something different, but if you go online, a lot of people are hoping there is a tone shift, perhaps, because they can't really feel out what the gameplay actually is and what the story is actually going to be. I feel like we get a good look at magic and melee combat. Some people are wondering, is it a set protagonist or is it a created character, kind of like what we've had before? We can inject ourselves into that character. But I'm wondering for you, Cog, just with everything you saw from Fable, what are the thoughts on this one?
Wow. So we in the theater. We're like, okay, what are they going to set it off with? We all talking. What are they going to set off? Then you get, boom, Playground Games. We go, oh, they doing this. Okay. So I'm already locked in. And, full disclosure, I'm not like the hardcore Fable guy. So Fable, for me, I'm always looking at Addict because I know what it means. He's on my side. I know what it means to him. But for me, I need to know what they're going to do to me to get me to be a true hardcore believer in Fable. I don't hate it, but I don't have that association that you guys, where it's like beloved, right? So I'm watching it, and the first thing I know, if I'm like, this graphic engine? Oh boy. When they started zooming into your man and he's talking, he's breaking things down, and I'm starting to see the tone, and it's a mix of serious, but it's also a mix of whimsical. It's a mix of that British humor. Obviously, we saw chickens kicked. I'm like, okay, that's classic, right? And then when we got the scope of his size from a giant perspective to, it looks like, the protagonist, that hit for me. There was moments where it appeared old girl, who was the protagonist, sword in the back. That looked like just one energy to me. That looked like, this looked graphically super impressive. Like, the thing that really impressed me was Playground was showing out in a completely different space other than cars. It looked phenomenal. Now, I get it. Could they have given combat or a mission or whatever? Yeah, of course we want that. I'm never going to say, yeah, I'm satisfied, with everything they did. But I got an idea of what this world, what a Playground Fable game could look and feel like. And I walked away very impressed. I always felt Fable was farther away. So to me, this is the setup. First you announce, and then, this is, I guess you want to say, in-engine or whatever. I loved it. I'm going to be honest. I thought they really set the tone with this. I thought it looked impressive. I'm super hyped about it. I'm in the building. It knocked the roof off. People went crazy inside the building. That's what I can tell you.
Defining Duke is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. I remember as a kid, I was really hyped one time because my dad was home from work for an extremely long period of time, so we played a lot of video games together. But the reason that was because he had slipped and hurt his back while working at a nursing home, and actually, unfortunately, they were refusing to provide workers' comp. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. When I showed my dad that, he was like, dang, wish I knew about that. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. With over $15 billion recovered for clients, Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. And submitting an injury claim with Morgan & Morgan is so easy, it's more like using an app than hiring a lawyer. Submitting a claim to Morgan & Morgan is actually more like ordering takeout of anything. And with Morgan & Morgan, you can submit a claim without ever having to leave your couch. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/Duke or dial pound law pound 529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/Duke or pound law pound 529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement. Yeah, for me, I thought the game looks great. Like, there's a lot to love about it. I think what we were all expecting was if they were going to show gameplay, which there were snippets of that here, that you would get a feel for the moment to moment. And if I were to critique something with the showcase, it was a lot of like sizzle reels instead of just, hey, let's see how it's rolling on its own. Maybe that's where developer direct comes in, and let's kind of settle into that more, where we get a good long look at a game. We'll see how Xbox handles that, because it's still new, right? And we've got two varying ones. We got one with tons of games, and then one that was arguably as long as the first direct, but it was on a single game. So we'll see how they shake up the marketing for it. But I wish I saw a little bit more moment to moment, but there are moments here where she pulls out a spell, where she's sliding around, where she's mantling. Like, it's very clearly the game in action. With the voice protagonist, it seems like I have to, that was the thing I didn't like in Fable 3 when they introduced that. Fable 1 and 2 was silent, and it was more about imprinting yourself on this character and living this, you got to simulate your own life, right? Like, you would buy businesses, you would make a ton of money working jobs, you could marry whoever you want, you could make these choices and watch the world shift and shape. But as they did that move to voice protagonist in Fable 3, my rule of thumb is this: no RPG gets better with voice protagonist, in my opinion. And when it does happen, like a Witcher, it's usually because the identity of the franchise is tied to like a single character in Geralt, who has been established as someone, whereas Fable's always been, you're a figure that you then put yourself into.
Right.
That's my one concern.
Okay.
Otherwise, I thought the trailer was a little weird with the Dave, the vegetable enthusiast, this giant human. I'm like, trying to make the connection in my head. I'm like, where the fuck have we seen this in Fable before? Like, giant people. I didn't really get what was going on there. Where it almost felt like, again, my biggest problem was I didn't get a feel for what the game was. I just wanted to get a feel for the game. And I didn't get enough of that. But otherwise, I mean, graphically, yeah, it looks incredible. We all expected that after Forza. After Forza Horizon, that was the expectation. But I don't know if we expected that good.
That's what it was for me. I think that's why I was so impressed, because I didn't expect it to be that good, because I'm coming in with old school Fable energy, where it's not like, this thing was a looker to me. So they already got me with the eye candy off the rip. And it's one of those things that we know what Playground is capable of, but I've never seen them in this space. And it just proved to me like, whoa, they are doing that from this engine standpoint. But I feel you on your points about knowing what the moment-to-moment gameplay. We didn't get that per se, right? I will give you that. But yeah, I think what you said is fair. I was just really blown away by how Playground showcased this engine. I think that was more of a technical thing for me, why I got so excited.
Yeah, it was definitely an impressive one, and slated for 2024. So
yeah, that was surprising.
Big window for a lot of these games. No one got really a definitive month unless you were coming out this year. Correct. And I don't know if you caught that, but I thought it was wise. I'm going to be honest. I thought it was wise, because we really don't know if will Avowed be up first or will it be Hellblade. It's really anybody's guess. And this year taught us a lot about, it's got to be Forza first, and Forza's going last. So we truly will never know. We'll certainly make our guesses, but yeah, a lot of 2024 exclusives lined up. Yep. It's just, I'm curious what the order will be. So
no, I agree.
Time will tell.
I agree. I think it's wise. You cannot have a Starfield Part 1 situation when you lock in 11-11 and you do all this. You have to give these guys time and that leeway. So I think it was smart. I know some people are going to be upset by that, but you have to give yourself leeway with development. You have to.
I agree. Next up, Cog, unless there's any thoughts on Fable that you'd like to share. South of Midnight, Compulsion Games. Now I'm going to read from the Xbox Wire on this one just because this was one of the few in-engine trailers we got. I thought it was acceptable because of the art style, that it could convey what it was a little bit easier, and the tone was great. So what they write is, from the creators of Contrast and We Happy Few, South of Midnight is a spellbinding third-person action-adventure game set in the American Deep South, coming to Xbox Series consoles with Game Pass and Windows PC with PC Game Pass, as well as Steam. As Hazel, you will explore the mythos and encounter creatures of Southern folklore in a macabre and fantastical world. When disaster strikes her hometown, Hazel is called to become a weaver, a magical mender of broken bonds and spirits. Imbued with these new abilities, Hazel will confront and subdue dangerous creatures, untangle the webs of her own family's shared past, and if she's lucky, find her way to a place that feels like home. Cog, what did you feel about this one? I really want to get the litmus test on this, because this feels like it could have been the just one for you. It was a new IP. It checked that box, but then I saw the art style and I went, nope, it's not it. So what did you feel about South of Midnight from Compulsion, who I know you've had the privilege of interviewing in the past?
Absolutely. Pretty much what you said. It's one of those things that, okay, this is it. We see the Compulsion name on that board. We're like, okay, we want, get in, see your man on the guitar. It's very dark. You have that kind of Southern, kind of vibe to it. And the first thing I noticed, I was like, okay, they're going for a very distinct art style. Now, I got to be honest, what bothered me, now people told me after the showcase that, because I thought it was a frame pacing issue, because it felt a little, to me,
I thought the frames were dropping in the trailer. Yeah,
I was like, I know y'all frames is not out like here. Look at somebody let their frames loose. I was like, bro, like get your frame. So that's where I'm like, oh no,
yeah,
right?
game two, and
and then people were telling me, no, that's a specific style after the fact. So that was the first thing. I got to come at them a little, Green and the team. I love y'all, but I did say we wasn't going to get really no CG, and this was really that. So we didn't get no real idea of the gameplay. So on one hand, I love the idea that, okay, we know what Compulsion is working on. Obviously, shout out to Ches Gordon, who kind of gave us the playbook early. So now we see the representation of it, but I didn't feel I learned enough. And then now that I see the art style, it's feeling double A to me, which then takes it out of #just1 energy for me. Still excited for it. Still want to see more of it, but I don't feel I learned really enough to make a justification if this game is going to be good. I just need to see more from you. Like, okay, this is cool. Now we know what you're working on. Let's get further along. Let's see you actually in action, and then I can make a proper assessment.
Yeah, with South of Midnight, I love these style of games that mess around with the art style a ton. This one reminded me a bit of Coraline, almost kind of stop motion like. So I'm very interested in seeing how it translates into the gameplay. I agree with you though. This is where I feel like I can solidify more of my critique of Fable, because it does tie in a bit to South of Midnight, where the opening was my biggest issue, because back to back, you're telling us what they're working on, but we don't have an idea of what these games play like. To me, it was the most awkward, imbalanced part of the showcase, where it's like, okay, cool, Compulsion, but what the hell is this? I'd love to know. And so for them to describe it as a spellbinding third-person action-adventure game, I'm not gonna lie, bro, I didn't get that vibe at all. I couldn't have guessed at all what this would have been. So that is a failure on the trailer's part, but tone-wise, I'm a fan.
Yes, like the tone. I got some inside baseball. Shout out to my man Sam Tolbert for Windows. So apparently, some of the writers that are on this team, I forget the game he mentioned prior. I don't know if it may have been Naughty Dog, but don't quote me, where from what I understand, they are going to tackle some deep South racial issues. So they're going to go there with some historical stuff. This is what, based on some of the team there, they're not going to pull punches. So that part excites me. But again, to your point, Maddie, they didn't convey anything that I got the sense of what it's going to be enough in that trailer. So there's still more to be, found out. But hey, if you're going to go into deep history and the South, and how things were being, and that really will excite me and will raise this a level if this is officially confirmed. I'm just giving you some potential inside baseball from the crew. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, that's great insight to have, because that definitely makes me more interested. It makes me think of Mafia 3 a bit, where it was bold enough to dare to tell those kinds of stories, and they did them really well. And when you do them well, it 100% elevates the game. So very excited to see what Compulsion is working on in terms of gameplay, because the biggest hang back for We Happy Few, to me, like, again, tone was awesome. Story elements are really good. It's just like, man, this gameplay is procedural shit. When they already confirmed that's it's not going to be procedural well before this reveal even happened. So we know we're escaping that. But I just want to know what this spellbinding third-person gameplay is. I don't know why I'm thinking it's going to be like Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. Like, that's what's coming to mind right now. But we'll see. We'll see. Game number 3. And then Sarah Bond takes the stage. Star Wars Outlaws coming 2024. Bit of a promotion for Ubisoft's Forward event the following day, where we're going to get gameplay by the time this episode's out for everyone, though. We have yet to see that gameplay, so we're just going off the trailer that was revealed at Xbox's showcase. This is said to be, according to Lucasfilm, set between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi film, and is touted as the first open world Star Wars game. Man, little bait and switch here, Xbox. When you're opening with this, and my little look at my jacket, goddammit. Look at my friggin' jacket. For those who are listening, I'm wearing a Star Wars jacket. This is my Christmas suit that I wear when Xbox pops off or when Bethesda pops off. It's the celebratory suit. I show up for it. But I also got it because I love Star Wars. And so when I saw them show up, God, when I saw Lucasfilm, I was like, oh my God, they're finally doing it. They're finally getting a Star Wars game. It's about time. It's third party. So it's like, oh, okay. So I'm very interested in this game. When the gameplay hits, we'll have more thoughts in our following episode. But this was an interesting one to open up with. I don't know why, like what the partnership is here. It's not Game Pass. It's not exclusive. It's just a third-party game. And the reason I say it like that is I think last year's showcase, only 2 games were like that. So when you open with it, right, and you're opening 3, it is that moment of what is the significance here that we're missing? Could be marketing rights. Star Wars is a big brand to have at your back, and a good one to buy into, I'd say, especially with when you see the inclination of the series and gaming with Star Wars Jedi Survivor and whatnot. But I thought what was there looked interesting. And as a huge Star Wars fan, I said this already. Y'all can quote me from my Hogwarts Legacy review. I said, Hogwarts Legacy didn't speak to me, but if you put a Star Wars coat of paint on that style of game, it would probably go up 2 points for me, which is why I understand Harry Potter fans of that game. To me, that game's it's okay. But if it plays to my favorite franchise, so yeah, I'm excited. There's no doubt about it. My fandom is kicking in here. This was, again, a Matty S announcement. So I was, despite knowing it wasn't going to be something massive for the ecosystem, as a gaming fan, super pumped for this one. Sir, your thoughts on Star Wars Outlaws?
Yeah, this was a surprise. It's a pleasant surprise for me, man. I thought it showed well. I thought I liked what I saw. I felt like they definitely took a lot of pages from the Jedi Survivor playbook. I thought the female protagonist looked cool. They had like a little companion, kind of reminds me a little beady, kind of energy. I thought the set pieces looked cool. Open world. It looks like it's very ambitious. I'm with you. I think this is because I look right at the end. Is it Game Pass? Is it? What is it, right? And it just feel like, okay, marketing rights, which is still a big deal. I get it. It's going to be multi-plat, but I still feel it's a big deal that, they value that, so to speak, as far as advertising on their stage. So yeah, I thought I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, okay, that looks really cool. I'm very interested. I want to see more. And that's pretty much what I got from it. But yeah, I was curious. I was like, how is Maddie taking it? I was like, is he going crazy right now?
The Xbox fan, coverage side of me is like, oh man, that was just kind of there. And in the terms of the showcase, it didn't really add much of value to the ecosystem. But as a game, as a third-party presence, it's a good one to put in there. No doubt about it. I always felt weird about, like, I think Annapurna did this during the Summer Games Fest where they're like, yeah, tune into our showcase later. It's like, why is Xbox letting other people promote on their own platform like this, man? I don't know. Call me an elitist on that, but Yeah, just like when they said, "Yeah, you ain't getting the gameplay. We'll see you tomorrow." It's like, why are you here at all?
If you ain't gonna show me the goods, why are you here?
Yeah,
I feel you. I feel you.
that's how good it was,
Promotion.
though. I had that kind of energy.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I feel you. I definitely want to know more. There's no question. But I got the tone, I got the feel, so I was feeling
Yeah.
good about it overall.
Yeah, definitely felt classic Star Wars, which is good given the movies. It's set between heist focused, is what it sounds like. They're trying to pull off the biggest heist in the Outer Rim. I'm like, okay,
Okay.
okay, I like that. So we'll see how
Mm-hmm.
it goes. Next up on this list, very few games kind of like this. So I'm curious as your energy because you really wanted to see more AAA focus. So we get an indie one here, and I felt it made it more purposeful, more meaningful. When we see something like 33 Immortals, it's coming day one to Game Pass in 2024. It's described on Xbox's Wire as a co-op action roguelike for 33 players. Play as a damned soul and rebel against God's final judgment. Dive straight into epic 33-player co-op battles with instant pickup and raid matchmaking. Cooperate with your allies to survive against hordes of monsters and massive challenging bosses. Expand your arsenal and equip powerful new relics to permanently upgrade your soul. Face the wrath of God in a fight for your eternal life. I thought this looked really interesting. 33-player co-op is a really good selling point. We don't hear that ever. So I was pretty into it. Art style looked good. This is coming from Thunder Lotus. So, Cog, what are your thoughts on 33 Immortals?
Same. First, I started watching. I'm like, what's this? Here we go. I was like, okay, here's the indie portion. Let's see what they do. But I want to say something. I want to give Xbox credit. Listen, I always tell people, you go get your vegetables with these indies. You gonna have to eat your vegetables, Xbox fans. I know y'all want AAA bangers every single time, but you gonna have to sneak them in. And they snuck this one in, but I thought it really started to build, and I gained more interest and more love. At first, I liked the art style, I like what I saw, and then, like you said, boom, 33-player co-op. And I was just like, whoa, that's a big marketing buzzword. What are we doing? And you start to see the scale of what's going on. It starts to ramp up, and you see the co-op, you see the raids. And I'm like, okay, you have my attention. So I definitely felt it punched above its weight. I thought it looked really cool. I'm very intrigued on what a 33-player co-op roguelite Immortal, what does that do? So yeah, you have my attention. I need to know what this is about. So yes, I thought it showed very well, and it was a nice little highlight for me.
Developer of Spiritfarer, and that is
Mm-hmm.
a touching video game. I highly recommend it, and it was in Game Pass for a while. It's actually one of our very
Nice.
first Game Pass pick of the weeks that we did here
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Finding Duke. And yeah, I mean, it seems like they got a little partnership here with Thunder Lotus, which is great. And this is probably a way better fit for them with Game Pass. Spiritfarer was more of a single player game, but this is 33 player co-op. So I expect this to have a lot of chatter online because it's just so different. Gameplay looked fun and really action packed. I'm very curious how, because they described it as pickup and raid matchmaking.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very interested to see how that all plays out. Cool theme though, fighting against the wrath of God. So not what I took away from the trailer, but knowing that I'm a little more interested.
Yeah, and I would love to see, like, if they have any type of like boss encounters or anything like that. That would be really
Oh,
cool.
they got to. They got to. No
like
doubt about
really
it.
epic bosses that would take it to the next level.
Next up, Cog. This was one that I think was one of the bigger day one Game Pass investments they made. And that is Payday 3 coming out September 21st. And dude, I mean, this is a huge get as far as I'm concerned, because Payday 2 is one of the most popular co-op games ever and one of the most played. And you get the third iteration that, I mean, the shooting looks cleaned up. Looks like the jank's been ripped out of this one. It's been in development for a while. And so now you got Payday 3 here coming September 21st, day one to Game Pass. I am very excited for this one. Sir, your thoughts on what is shaping up to be a very busy month for the year?
Bro, the minute I saw that clown mask, I knew what it was. I was like, Payday, let's go. Look, I thought it showed well. This is for my tactical lords. You know what I'm saying? If people want to get in the mix, I thought for the most part, the only thing I'm concerned about is the company. I forgot the name of the studio that does Payday. They've had a notorious history as far as like support. So I hope they've cleaned that part up, because I know people who are hardcore in the Payday community still have some gripes with the older ones, and as far as the support. But I think this was a huge get for Xbox. I believe Game Pass, right?
Yeah, day one
launch.
Game Pass. Yep.
Day one game. This is a perfect game. Again, it reminds me of that Rainbow Six Siege pocket. You know what I mean? And Payday's got a huge community. You know what I mean? Again, if it's done right, gameplay's tight. I thought it showed really well. I was really impressed with it. I think it's a great get.
Yeah, same here. I think it's definitely one of their best investments that they could have made. There's a ton of co-op games, but this is one that is an easy sell. Almost feels like a layup. Reminds me a bit of that Back for Blood. Like, oh, of course. So I hope it doesn't have a similar fate to Back for Blood.
True.
We'll see around launch. But I mean, I give them props for stacking up in September, regardless of what is happening with Starfield. They really didn't spare any open windows in the year. They could have rested the laurels fully on that. I think that's why we saw a lot of 2024, is because Starfield is going to carry the weight alongside Forza in this year. But they really don't leave us much open room this year at all.
It's insane, the releases September, October. Like, it is insane what's about to go down, man.
Yeah. Because in between these two is Lies of P now.
Oh, I forgot about Lies of P.
Lies of P just got a demo that's pretty convincing. So it's like, yeah, Xbox is cooking, man. This is where old Game Pass investments and delays help them out a lot.
This is when that Game Pass label really feels good. You're like, all right, cool. I ain't got to make tough decisions. It's already in there. I can get to it when I get to it, and it's beautiful. I love it.
This next one.
Next one. Let's go.
This is what I knew was going to be a great showcase, because all these I'm generally pretty positive on. And then we're like 7 games in maybe, and we get Persona 3 Reload coming early 2024. Day one Game Pass. Ooh. A remake of Persona 3. Now, for me to get into my thoughts, I got to read this right in here from Psyonix.
Let's go.
Good evening, gentlemen. It seems Atlas pulled an Atlas and fumbled right at the finishing line. In an interview with IGN, the Persona 3 Reload producer and chief director confirmed the remake contains only content found in the base Persona 3 game and not the FES or portable versions. This means the game will exclude the epilogue story titled The Answer, the FemC route, and potentially a number of quality of life enhancements not found in the original release. Personally, I'm a bit disappointed by this news, since I was hoping we would finally get a definitive version of this amazing game. Instead, I guess we'll just have to continue arguing over the best version for time immemorial. I know we won't have full details yet, but I can't help but feel discouraged by this news. How do y'all feel about this? This is a gut punch. It's still a huge W on the Xbox front, on Optics front, and this game is super exciting to me. But no FES content and no portable content is a huge gut punch. This was supposed to be the grand unifier, is what I've been calling it.
Got it.
So there's the base game Persona 3. There's FES, which has the epilogue. There's Persona 3 Portable, which had the ability for you to command your teammates' attacks, like in most turn-based games, instead of them attacking for themselves. Strategizing, the really important thing in turn-based, that's here. Playing as a female main character this is the only entry in the series you can do it, so it's kind of special. Mm-hmm. And all of these elements are scattered, where to get the true Persona 3 experience, you got to play 3 different versions. And so it made so much sense when you remade it that these all came together. That was what everyone was expecting. And for them to not do that is a seriously missed opportunity. But as Psyonix said, Atlas get to Atlas. And what I mean by that is a little less about being mean to them here and more, we've been down this road before. We know what Atlas does. Psyonix, you know where I'm going with this. We know Persona 5 Royal. We know Persona 4 Golden. They all had their base versions before they got those add-ons, right? And I get this sneaking suspicion that Atlas is going to cash in twice on this remake. And I think they're going to come back around with a new version a couple years after, and they're going to hit us with the, here you go, y'all, FES. Here's the portable content. So they're not giving it to you for a free update. I can promise you that. But that is my prediction right now, is that Atlas will sell us the game a second time because they have done it before and to great effect. And with how much Persona is coming out now, we'll talk about another Persona game later this show, another Persona style game as well later this show. And there's the rumors of 6 next year. Atlas is clearly, and Sega are clearly trying to get this series out more and more and introduce more people to it because day one Game Pass here is huge. Sega is not all talk about believing in Game Pass. They are putting some of their most important products here day one. This is, to me, I'd say, among all the third party, optically speaking, the most important day one Game Pass get for Xbox right now. I don't know if it'll be their highest play count. I doubt it will be. But in the terms of seeing big belief in Game Pass, this is something Atlas would have no issue selling at all. This will sell extremely well. But the fact that it's day one in Game Pass, I'm glad Xbox is paying up because it goes to what I said. Final Fantasy is cuffed. It's cuffed. You're not breaking up that marriage, bro. You're not home wrecking Xbox.
Wifey.
Yeah, they're not home wrecking. Don't go be a home wrecker. So guess what? Go find yourself a new girl. Atlas, baby. How's it going, sweetie? Damn, you're fine. Persona 3 remake? And, what's this metaphor? ReFantazio? Wait, and you got Persona 5 Tactica for me. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're the right woman for me. So Xbox, put a ring on it. All right. Keep this one nice and close. This is your Final Fantasy. This is important. Cog, I've spoken enough. What are your thoughts on Persona 3 Reload?
I love your consolation wife story with this. like you can't get Square Enix, but you know what, Atlas? Me, you got a good thing going on. So why don't we get together? I feel you. Look,
they're upgrading too, as far as I'm concerned.
Definitely, they definitely upgraded. I mean, we got to put respect on Atlas' name. I think this was for me where the smile starts to get big because I'm like, what is Maddie thinking at this point? These are these Persona games. You see what's going on. Now, yes, they did fumble the ball with the version that they're doing and not fusing all of them together. I get that. But the significance of this on this stage, and we start to see the start of Atlas's logo frequenting the Xbox Game Showcase. You starting to see the beginning trend of that. And I think that was just beautiful to see. And I remember, Maddie, not to, rub the wound, and some people, this Sega and Mike, it's only about cloud. It's nothing about games.
No, flex.
Bro, it's you guys are overstating it. This is purely a cloud relationship. The Dukes don't know.
Dude, I just got to real quick throw in. The Dukes are going to collect a lot of W's this episode. This is just one of them.
This is just one of many. Wow. And it's just so funny to me how you're starting to see, again, like you said, the fruits of that relationship, them continuing to press. And we're going to get into the other games they did, which really got me even more. But this was more for Maddie. I'm like, how is Maddie taking it? So it's cool to see you say, okay, you know what? Yes, they little slight fumble with not, giving us that full-fledged version and merging all of these in one and probably reselling us the remakes of these later, but to see it on the platform. And the only nitpick I could say was, damn, it sucked that a little bit of this got kind of leaked because it would have hit even harder. And again, the significance to see this on the Xbox stage is significant.
It's got to be something working out for Atlas. Like they must have seen numbers that are way better than anticipated or engagement that they did not anticipate because it's one thing, okay, you lock down one of their games, but they've locked down 2 Persona games and another Persona-like game. Like Sega their fingerprints were all over this showcase, where now it's like, this is a major landing spot for when we're talking about Jet Set Radio next year, maybe, if it doesn't get shown off by then. That's one that we can say, Xbox's stage is perfect for that. Because this was the year that partnership was solidified. Last year, it felt like the beginning of that JRPG support. That's how they ended the show, right? Wolong. And then the Persona ports, it's like, okay, cool. The Kojima partnership. But this year, you know what I would define it as? Natural. Yes. Normal. Like this is a part of them because it wasn't just Atlas. There were other JRPGs, other Japanese games here. One I wasn't so pleased to see.
Oh, don't you
But
start. We're not going to do that. I know what you, we're not going to do no slander on what I think you're about to do, but we're going to continue.
tell your man to put on some fucking pants, honestly.
That's right. We out here skin. We selling skin, baby. Skin sells.
Oh, man. But Persona 3 Reload, gameplay, art style wise, they fucking cooked, bro. Holy hell. Like, that game looks incredible. It looks excellent, dude. It really does. So I'm just excited to go in there and replay this one. It's a special video game nonetheless, whether they put these versions together or not. It's a missed opportunity, but this is still one that Xbox fans were wondering, do I play this port that's from Persona 3 Portable? Do I wait for this remake? I'm just going to say wait for the remake. I think art style wise, I think it's worth it. I think Persona 3 Portable is like the best version, but you know, I'm not going to tell you all to go through Tartarus twice. You should only go through it once. And if you're going to go through it once, go through it with the new game coming to Game Pass early next year. Okay? That's your Maddie tip of the day.
Fair enough.
I mean, we're cooking, bro. Next game, Avowed, 2024 window.
Whoa.
Now, the streets were talking on this one, and Adam Belgarby has the write-in for this, Cog. And I'm curious if the temperature in the room changed at all when you saw this game. He writes, "Hey, illustrious Dukes, what are your thoughts on the art style of Avowed? I understand that they had to differentiate themselves from Elder Scrolls, but Avowed looked a lot more colorful and playful in the showcase than in the original teaser, which felt a lot darker. I was really hoping for a dark fantasy vibe. Anyways, have the digital pasture is looking rather green kind of day." I really want to get your thoughts on this first, because a lot of people battled back against this one from what I saw. Not a ton,
really?
but
what's the streets saying? The streets is talking crazy.
That's what I'm saying, man. The art style did not match the tone of the CG trailer. And I have arguments against this. I don't agree at all. But I'm curious for you, what was the feeling in that room? Of course, what did you think of the show? Was anyone saying a similar thing?
Nah, like when that joint came out, we were like, okay, let's see what's going on. Obsidian's name comes up. We go, okay. And immediately, oh, bro, I was just like, oh, we here? Let's go. Black. I mean, I'm like the loudest in the theater at that point, right? So basically, they start showcasing, and as I'm rewatching it while I'm talking to you, you know, the first thing I noticed was, yes, a little colorful, a little bright, a little vibrant. But I'm noticing your man walking off the thing, sword over the shoulder. I love the tone. I felt the tone was serious, even though I thought we got plush biomes, different areas, but I didn't feel that reflected. Like the main character wasn't serious, the tone wasn't serious. Whoever was narrating felt like it was going down. We got the double guns, we got the spell casting. You know, I started to see things that I'm like, oh no, we going there. So I think the difference between, if I want to say like the Bethesda way of doing things in terms of Elder Scrolls versus this, I got Elder Scrolls vibe, but with Obsidian sensibilities. And the main thing for me as a person who likes Sorcerer, when he had the book and you're seeing the things go around him, like it just hit every RPG note for me. And I'm rewatching it right now while I'm talking. It's just, this thing looks beautiful. He's pulling the person in. You've got the axe. You're cutting people down. You're making people bend the knee. You're chopping heads off. Feel like Skyrim with the combat. Like, I'm in heaven. Like, I don't care what nobody. Now, if you want to say, hey, Cog, maybe it was a little framey here or there, okay, maybe, right? But I didn't see anything substantial enough to say, oh, I'm worried or I'm concerned about. This game looked fire to me. So maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm too close with the Black Rock. But I was thoroughly impressed, and I can't wait to learn more. And I actually thought it looked graphically better than the first show. That was just me. So that's where I'm at with it.
Dude, I'm with you. I'm stunned that there were even people saying that this was not an impressive looking game. I mean, are we that short term in memory when it comes to this industry? This team has delivered head over fist and literally carried the brand on their back last year. And the second we see an art style shift based off something we've never seen outside of one 240p leaked screenshot, we're claiming that it is against the tone of the base fucking trailer. What? So I went back and I listened. I was like, let me hear the tone of trailer 1. Let me hear the tone of trailer 2. Let me put my mind to it. Let me read the Xbox Wire post. Let me do the digging that probably 90% of the people who complained about it didn't really do, right? So I'm like, let me see what's going on here. No, this tone is consistent. The fact that it's vibrant and playful in its color palette, by the way, is not a problem. We get so many dark fantasy games. We're getting Lords of the Fallen later this year. We got Elden Ring last year. It's good timing for Obsidian, which they've been the benefactor of before, i.e., the Outer Worlds while 76 was putting out a subscription service, right? They've been at the good end of those types of things. And I think they are again. It's refreshing looking. It's not the same deep, dark, serious fantasy worlds we've seen before in the terms of its visual palette. But when you listen to what's in the trailer is saying, you've got a lot of power. What are you going to do with it? And you see you wreaking havoc, and then you see you saving people. It's clearly a game, as indicated by the Xbox Wires post, all on choice and consequence, which is what Pillars of Eternity is about. And a lot of people thought, oh, it's co-op. It's co-op. Now, it might be. There were rumors of co-op. It's not 100% confirmed if it's single player or not. Based off the Xbox Wire post, they never said it's just single player and they never said it's not multiplayer. So we'll see. But you saw multiple characters following you. But the Xbox Wire post goes in on that green character, we'll call him, because I don't know all the races and whatnot in Pillars. But that's one of your companions. And those are the people following you in that trailer. They have their own sets of abilities and they help you in combat. And I like that because it's like you got your own party when you're roaming around. So from that to the gameplay to the magic, Cog, the magic, the way you're like, he conjures this almost void orb and is pulling everyone in. I'm just like, bro, everyone's talking about Skyrim. I love Skyrim. Y'all know I don't got shit to prove about how much I love Skyrim, but y'all know how much I do. Skyrim's magic's not fun. It's not fun to use. It's busted, but it's not satisfying to use. This is what I want to see in next generation magic. That power that you wield, the spell crafting with your finger while seeing the environment change in front of you. The havoc you can wreak here looks tangible, palpable. It's like you can feel it. And so I'm not trying to overhype it, bro. But to me, I feel like if you're just looking at an art style versus what you saw in, by the way, I'm not talking to you, Adam, when I say this, a CG trailer, the thing that we complain about all the time.
Yep.
I think you're not focusing on the right things in this game. Not that you can't critique it, but I mean, when I'm reading some of these comments, I genuinely feel like you'd think this is a pastel, cel-shaded like game. It's like, no, bro, it's got vibrancy, a little bit of contrast. It's like that's the worst it's doing. We're in a great spot. So I thought this was the subject of some nitpicking, quite frankly.
I agree. And add on to what you're saying, I still seen serious, darker tone biomes. I think people are confusing diversity of biomes as if that's a bad thing. Like, I don't see that. And what you said about the singularity thing, void magic, really hit, because to me, where it showed the power, it was about 5 or 6 characters being manipulated. And then with that singularity, and then when it was done with the magic, and then they all dropped. You see all the bodies and the decimate. They showcase the power of the magic. That's what I want to see. Even Elder Scrolls at its best, you have some spells, but you're not manipulating groups of people and doing all this. Like, it gave me Mass Effect biotic energy. Remember when the biotics used to?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And the bodies used to float. That's next generation. Like, that's what I want to see. The next level of that. And to me, that's super ambitious, as opposed to fire spell, ice spell,
pew,
just simple pew, pew, pew. No, bro, we doing things. So now we're not going to do this to the Black Rock. Y'all going to play respect on that name and how ambitious it is. And I think as it gets closer, we're going to see more, and it's going to showcase more. But I was more than impressed with Avowed. They did their thing for me.
Yeah, same. And I love that they showed out with a lot of gameplay that didn't feel it was a sizzle reel, no doubt about it. But
of course,
I felt like I was able to really capture, this is what I'm going to play. And that's all we wanted. So shout out to Obsidian, man. I don't think we were lied to by any stretch of the imagination. It's another great showing from them. Count me excited. And even if I was skeptical, like we were with Pentiment, I think they've more than earned our trust. That's not fanboyish to say. They absolutely earned our trust. So let's have some faith in them to absolutely deliver once more.
Absolutely. I'm with you.
Shout out to Ben. Sea of Thieves, Legend of Monkey Island. He got this one right. He predicted this in our little group chat.
You
It's
did
coming
call it.
July 20th. He said that there's going to be another Disney partnership, and this one's here. I don't know what to say. I don't know much about Legend of Monkey Island, sir. You got something to throw out for me?
Mr. Ben, we gotta talk. I think you got me. I'm a big fan of Monkey Island. It's one of the few. That's the first PC game I've ever played, and I have a history with it. So this actually resonated with me. Usually when the Sea of Thieves section come, I ain't gonna lie, your boy roll his eyes, like, all right, you know it gotta be here. Okay, it's successful. We get it. Nah, bro. Like, I was like, I might be playing this single player. Like, I know this story and it resonates. So y'all got me for that season just to see what's going on. I'll beat it. Look, I did the Pirates of the Caribbean with the crew with the Lords. I'm going to have to get in on this one just for that. Yeah, I love me some Monkey Island. So yes, this was a perfect pairing, I felt.
Yeah, I love what they're doing with Sea of Thieves in that regard. That speaks to me the most. I think I've kind of given up on the idea of me getting into this game. I've tried. I love the idea. You know, when you really love the idea of something, like, oh, I could see me enjoying that, but you just don't when you sit down and do it. It's not a bad game, but that's what happens to me in Sea of Thieves. I sit down to play. I'm just like, okay, now I'm good. Like, it's just like, I just feel like I got to work too hard to get this session going. But this is definitely one of those Xbox necessities where you know it's going to be there. It's a matter of when it shows up. And I love that they're continuing these Disney partnerships, and I hope we see more of that. There's nothing that gets me more excited than when I see Lucasfilm games. I'm like, what is that? What is that? It gets me to perk up a little bit, no doubt about it.
Factual.
All right, next up, we got Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, which Phil Spencer described at the end of the show as I wasn't sure if this is an expansion or what, a brand new Microsoft Flight Simulator video game. It's coming again, as the title would suggest, 2024. And there's a Dune expansion coming out November 3rd. Now, Cog, you've taken flight with this one. And what do you think about what they were showing there? It looked like there were occupations in this one. Like you could rescue people hiking. There were humans about. Visually, one of the most impressive games at the showcase. I thought it looked great, quite frankly. Like when I saw Asobo, I'm like, what is this? And then I saw Microsoft Flight. I'm like, it makes more sense now. But I thought this was impressive, quite frankly, which I wasn't expecting to feel when I saw that logo grace my screen.
Bro, same thing. You know, again, you get to the segments where you think, all right, first, let me be clear. I didn't expect anything Flight Simulator here, to be honest.
Yeah,
so I see Asobo and I'm like, hold on, what they doing? There's something new, what they doing? Then I see Flight Simulator. And at first, I was about to groan. I was like, all right. All right, yes, we know you're great looking, but I ain't going front. Like, it showcased very well the fire rescue, mountain rescue. There's a low altitude flight. They had so many modes and ambulance transport. And I'm like, yo, this is kind of interesting. Like the way they're showcasing it. Then at the end, you know, people were telling me, yo, that's the Dune joint. You know, the way they've been creative with their partnerships. Obviously they did, what was it? The, the Need for Speed, your boy, you know, Maverick and them. They did that before, but I thought this showed well. I will say this. Look, I'm never going to be a hardcore flight sim guy. I played it. I'm a casual. I'll jump in. I'll jump out. But I will say, if you're a fan, this game is huge on PC. This game is massive on PC. So if you're a fan of this and to see this level of support, and I believe they even had some type of dog fighting combat thing, if I may have been mistaken.
Yeah, a little bit almost. They showed racing too. Like that was crazy.
You cannot front on the level of support. And again, even though it may not be everyone's cup of tea from the hardcore gamer, this is a big audience and people love this game. And I have to admit, this was substantial content for this game that looked impressive. Say what you want. That game looks beautiful. Asobo showing what Asobo can do. Plague Tale. And then you have something like this. Microsoft, baby, like keep them close. Keep them close. I love they're getting into that playground bag where we could kind of do anything and it's still going to look good. You know what I mean? Like that kind of energy. So shout out to Asobo. I thought they really showcased something well that at first I thought I wasn't going to be interested in at all.
Yeah, I literally have the same exact thoughts on that. Didn't think I'd be interested, but with the occupations, it's what's a thing to do is what spoke to me. Like there are a lot of things in Microsoft Flight Simulator that looked appealing, but I I've really fallen out of love with the Zen chill experience. Like I don't play games just to kind of float around and just like, bro, I'm so vibey. Just not my thing. I don't disrespect people who do, even though what I just said there may sound like it. It's just not my energy though. So when I see something like, I can go and do a thing, I can be a person or whatever and live out an occupation. To me, that enhances what I think is one of the game's strengths, which is like the educational manner of it all. So I got to say, it was actually one that I thought, if there's like a dead night or two, this could be on the
dead night. I'm done with you.
This could be on the playlist for me though. So I'm keeping an open mind. Seriously, I could see myself actually playing this one. So that's a big step forward. I think it speaks to the strengths of the game.
Yeah, the rescue part really intrigued me. I'm very curious about that. I ain't go front.
Because at first I thought it was like a massive expansion, but see, it's kind of like overhauling what's there. Really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up, bro, Hellblade 2. This was the one I was wrong about. I thought it would be a show opener, and I thought it was coming out this year. Maddie was wrong. It's coming 2024. I feel you and I are about to spiritually connect on this one. I felt a hint of disappointment with this showing. yeah.
My man, okay. That's why we're the Dukes. That's why we're the Dukes.
Hit me with it.
Look, man, I'm going to be real. So, remember, this is where we at in the show. We done saw Fable. We done saw Avowed.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my mind, me and Addict talking like, yo, what they going to end? Like, they showing. So, Hellblade Ninja Theory logo come up. We go, oh, already?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I'm watching. Shout out Unreal Engine 5, of course. Senna was walking. She looks phenomenal. Obviously, they set it up. Hey, we showed the first adventure. We showed you, engaging with the troll. So to me, you've now set expectation that we are not going to do what we did with the troll, and we are going to show combat or gameplay. That's where I'm in. You bring Homegirl out to say what we showed last was cinematics, and then you show cinematics. So I got Ninja Theory. I love you. I'm not saying this game is going to be whack. It looks phenomenal. But then that bothered me, Maddie, was the length of time on a weird cinematic that, visually looked cool, but you spent so long. I was getting to the point, I was like, okay, she probably going to touch the reflection and somebody going to come out and chase her and then they're going to fight. I'm like, get to when they going to fight. Okay, something going to happen. They're going to fight. And no fight happened.
She just falls through the hole and it's like 2024. I'm like,
and I'm like,
joke.
Bro, no, Ninja Theory, no. I love y'all. But if you could have stayed home for that, like no disrespect, like there was no need for you to do that a third time. We all said, I gotta be fair. If we see you a third time, I want to see some swords clanging. I want to see what you doing in combat. And to me, you came out there and again showed us how pretty a cinematic is. And I still don't know what we doing on the fighting tip. So I'm not worried. I just didn't like how you presented, and you should have stayed home if you going to do that. I know people ain't going to like that, but that's where I was at. And I'll be honest, I was disappointed. I'm like, bro, like, you got to show combat. When are we getting combat? So I'm done rambling. But yeah, I admit I was a little with this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It kind of cooled me off a bit where I was thinking, I was riding a high at this point, and I see Hellblade 2, and I'm thinking, finally, bro, they're going to see Senua draw the blade. Because for those who haven't played Hellblade 1, highly recommended. A lot of walking sim energy at times, a lot of, bask, take it all in, a lot of audio design focus. And there's a lot of combat, but it was more showy than deep. And so a lot of people thought, okay, we're going from this $20 indie game to this $70 blockbuster AAA game. Like, certainly they got to elevate that. And I have no concerns that they haven't, but it's starting to become extremely curious why they're avoiding it. It's almost, the way I look at it is that they're almost like masturbatory about Unreal Engine 5. It's like, look, guys, look how fucking good our graphics are. Look how good the animation. I'm like, okay, bro, we got that trailer 1. Trailer 2, Max. I distinctly remember us labeling our episode around Hellblade 2 after the Game Awards. We were like, that was one of the most beautiful games at the time we have ever seen. And I still think it has a chance to be. But it's time to show, I can't even say gameplay. It's time to just show combat. Show what most of the game should be, right? And it's baffling that we've had to wait this long. And so I'm starting to wonder with some of these half showings if the developer direct is middling here a bit. Like, okay, let's, is it going to be state of play energy, right? Like, you get your own direct. You get your own direct. It's there. We're going to go in on it. Because a lot of these felt showy, like, we exist, we're here, we're running, this is gameplay. Like, even Fable, this is gameplay. But if you want to see how we're really showing out, tune in to the developer direct, whatever it is. And that's the energy I got from it. I'm like, I'm right there with you. I'm so excited for Hellblade 2. But why did y'all show up with that kind of trailer? I mean, I got captured and you could feel the audio. If you didn't have that, but I was wearing headphones and bro, you could hear the surrounds. You could hear the voices from all angles.
Amazing. I have to give the theater credit, bro. It felt like, I don't know what they was doing, IMAX. No, you felt it, bro. Nice. I was like, I feel like I got Dolby. I'm hearing her from all angles. No, the audio representation, beautiful. You said, I think you nailed it, bro. I think based on how this showcase went with the Starfield Direct after, I think that is the energy that they're on, which is you're going to get it at our developer direct. And the one side, I feel it, but the other side, me and you in agreement, which is like, bro, you cannot not show that much again for a third time. And I'm with you. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, I think you nailed the format. I think you nailed what Microsoft is doing with directs now. I think you nailed it.
Because Starfield is an enormous game. I don't know if that's going to be a standard. Like, are these games going to get that deep of dives each time? Because that was one of the most informative. Obviously, we'll talk about Starfield in extent in a little bit, but that was one of the most informative drops of information we have received pre-launch to a game ever from one company, one outlet. And if that's the standard Xbox wants to set, I would be okay with that. Truthfully, I would be. If this is okay, here's the game, it exists. I don't think, because I think Avowed captured it well. It's like, here's the game. Here's what you're going to be playing. It's funny because I complained about some of the sizzle reel trailers, but Hellblade 2, I actually would have welcomed that. Like, that's what I was looking for. And I'm wondering, because you said on an older episode that if they showed out again with another thing like this, that you're going to get worried. You're seeing you a little too much now. Is that feeling becoming a little real for you? Have we seen too much of Hellblade? Because it's going to be a fourth time. There's no doubt about it. If there is combat in this game, it will be a fourth time.
If there is,
I can't say for sure anymore. You think by now?
We can't give them the benefit of the doubt. Look, I will say, surprisingly, I'm not worried for some stupid reason. I think you nailed it.
I don't think there's reason to be worried. But
yeah, I think Microsoft has internally made a decision that, because think about it. This lines up exactly how Starfield lined up prior. People were saying, we haven't seen anything. What is this game about? Remember, Starfield was getting raked over the coals, not by us. We know God Howard energy. We know what a AAA A-team Bethesda game is supposed to do. So for us, we calm and cool. We like, relax. Y'all don't know what y'all doing. Ninja Theory don't have that pedigree, so they're going to get more of the smoke. But I think it's what you said. I think they're going to utilize, to their credit, the developer direct style, which now has been proven to be excellent. We have to start giving credit where it's due. The question is, they're still going to get smoke for a showcase representation on some level. So, yeah, I think that's what it is. To your question, still, I'm not worried, surprisingly, but I was just annoyed. That's all.
Yeah. On a positive note, the quality's there. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
I don't know if you had that same feeling. I mean, part of it was the anticipation of like, oh, is someone going to draw a blade? Is they going to start fighting? But like, naturally I'm a chatterbox, but like, it's hard to get me to shut the hell up during one of these showcases. And so the fact that I was quiet and I was like really leaning into the cutscene, if that's what we're going to start to capture in that game on a narrative level, I mean, they're cooking, man. They're cooking. Watch out.
For sure. Let's go.
Let's not.
Let's go.
Next game after this, really, I talked about cooling me off earlier, but man, you would have just took the whole bucket of water and dumped it on my head at that point. Yakuza Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth coming early 2024. Have your moment, sir. This is all you.
Woo! We getting naked. Oh, we going for the sales. Let's go. Listen, Maddie, you gotta embrace your man is the serious traditional Yakuza, the honor and the man without a name and erase this. This is not what the kids want. We want goofy, we want funny, we want heart, and we want someone who's loyal to his friends. And that is Ichiban Kasuga. We want to know what the hell he's doing in Hawaii, why he's washing up on shores naked, what is going on. So to me, it's the fix your face, Maddie. This is why we love him. He is a lovable goof, and he's just adorable. And he was extra adorable today. Nah, but all jokes aside, it was weird. I have to admit, it was a little weird. I was like, yo, what is going on with my man? Why is he outside, for real outside? But now look, it's classic Ichiban. And we just want to, all I need to know is why he's there. So it does, from my understanding, shout out to my man, my boy Homeboy Shaft from Gene from lordsofgaming.net. He confirmed to me that he's in Hawaii. So I want to know what happened.
It felt like he was based off someone speaking English. I was like, hold up. Is he not in Japan?
Right.
That what has happened? Cog?
Yeah. Let's be honest, new biome. We don't have the same Yakuza energy that we always in that same city doing the same things. Let's see where they go with it. I'm willing to give them a shot. And listen, I'm turn-based Yakuza, bro. This is my heart. Like, I love this. I want to know what's up with the crew. Namba, where they at? What's going on with the squad? Like, what happened? So, yes, this is for Cog. Maddie's gonna continue to hate this, man. It's nothing they're gonna do. Ichiban gonna do to make Maddie love him. But Ichiban fans, we got our goof. Our beloved goof is back, and we love him. And stop calling him a simp, even though you hate this man, and I love it. But he's just a lovable goof, man. I love me some Ichiban.
I'm trying to be objective, but bro, like I was almost in awe when they said, like, yo, who pitched the idea? Let's get this man's whole ass naked on a beach, and that's how we'll introduce it, bro. Like, this dude's ass got more screen time than most games on the showcase. That's insane. And I'm just sitting there like, what's the game? What's the game? This is the epitome of what your Yakuza series has become, ladies and gentlemen. You come at me, you're like, oh, Ichiban's that dude. They didn't market a thing to me. What's the game? It's just his ass. It's a little. Now, I like the play of, like, they wouldn't show between the legs. They just walk it like someone moves a drink and you see a lotion bottle's there. It was funny, but I'm open to it because of setting. In all seriousness, I like the idea of changing it up a bit. All these Yakuza games have been like Kamurocho or the new region I'm forgetting that was introduced with the first Like a Dragon game. And I got to give props to the series, man. Like, the amount of games they're pumping out. Like, they just did Ishin at the top of this year, doing Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. They're doing this one, which I'm pretty sure is this Yakuza 8 pretty much. Like, that's how I'm understanding it. I can't tell anymore.
Yeah, I'm losing
there's
track.
So many. But it's a testament to the series scope. And Xbox launched with very few things, but one thing they did have was the exclusive next-gen upgrade for Yakuza 7. So to see this on the stage does make sense for its first worldwide reveal. But I am curious. I like the name, Infinite Wealth. I wonder if it speaks to more of the what was it you had to do in
the business?
Like
Ichiban shareholdings.
Yeah,
the shareholders meeting is just about to begin.
I wonder if they're building off that avenue. Like, yeah, you got really rich because he, by the way, had to do it in the story, right? So you get really rich. He ends up going to Hawaii with his boys, his girls, and then that's where the story takes off. That'd be kind of cool, like a vacation gone wrong. So I'll be interested to see. But as you'll note, here is the mark of a low, because after this, unless you have more to say about your man.
No, you good, because we got to get into this.
I'm sure. I'm going to imagine. I'm going to be a little bit selfish for a moment here. I'm a little more. I'm actually not selfish. I'm going to be a little self-centered. and
Okay.
assume everyone was thinking about me in this moment to some way, shape, or form, some level. When you see Bethesda Presents and then the TV static hits, it is a moment of sheer joy internally, unlike anything I could ever describe to you. I lack the proper vocab to sit here and tell you all. When I saw that TV stack and I sat up, I didn't see 76 right away. I'm like, oh, I was like, yo, like, I know it's not 5. I know it's not 5. I was like, someone hold me, bro, because this is about to go insane. If after all of this, which has been great content, that you just, let's just stuff a little Fallout game in here. Bro, who the fuck said they wanted to go to Atlantic City and Fallout? I'd love to meet the person. I would in 76. I would love to meet that human being. No one on planet Earth has ever said that. It's been, let's go back to San Fran. It's been, let's go back to the Mojave. It's been, let's go back to the Capital Wasteland. It's been New York. It's been Florida, for God's sakes. And Florida sucks. But for God's sakes, Atlantic City. What? What happened, man? There was a mixture of disrespect and then the confusion, but I will stay open-minded on the location. Strictly because if you sat there and we were in a boardroom, like, yo, Maddie, next Fallout game, West Virginia, I'd be like, the hell you mean that? What? No, we're not going there. But for all 76's flaws, West Virginia is a great location. So I imagine if they picked it out, the team must have visited and said, we could totally nuke this place and make something cool about it. But bro, this game, what baffles me so much, I knew 76 would have to show up because there hasn't been a roadmap up until this point. And there still really isn't, which is insane. So for those who don't track 76, which I imagine is most of you, I do it out of almost this like, if they're not doing something, what else is going on? And this was the closest we got. So 76 usually gets its roadmap updates between February and April. It was June, and we had no idea what this game's future was. And this was after they just doubled down. They said, yep, we're supporting this game for 5 more years. We know about the Fallout TV show. And I'm thinking, like, are they holding out for something? Like, we should know for a service game. We should probably know. And I'm wondering, would this coincide with something? Fallout 4 Next Gen update, still nothing, by the way. Spoiler. So I don't know what's going on with the franchise, man, but to see this come out of nowhere with a very fun trailer, by the way, very fun trailer, like the playful energy, this shit hurt, y'all. This shit hurt my heart and soul because one thing we got to get into, I think, off of this, that applies for other franchises. What the hell was Phil talking about with collections, bro? He said we got collections of games or a game. No Fable collection, no Gears collection, no Fallout collection, no nothing collection. No collections at all.
Good point.
And I'm not saying I'm upset here because it wasn't Fallout, because that's clearly not the case. But we have yet to know what the hell that man was talking about. And I thought this was a chance of what it could have been. So it also brought that question to mind. I'm like, what was he talking about? So it's a 2-pronged question, but Cog, your thoughts on Fallout 76 going to Atlantic City?
Well, first things first, on the collection, I want to give myself credit because on the prediction show, I told people, I know the rumors were going on. Yo, we're getting Gears. I didn't feel much collection energy, to be honest. Like, I really didn't feel much collection energy. Anyway, but to this, man, bro, that Bethesda logo comes up on the screen. First person in my mind is my man's. I'm like, oh, boy, what's going to happen? See your man Vault Boy come out. I'm like, oh, what we doing? Then I see that filthy number 76 die out. And I'm like, bro, it's just like, it's the child nobody want to claim. It just won't go away. It's like, nah, we back. And granted, the musical thing was cool, you know, but it's just like, I felt for you,
money
bro.
Went into it, bro. God,
bro. They are committed to not letting this thing die. And there's a part of me that's like, man, this thing is getting in the way. I don't know what the engagement is, so I got to be respectful for a person who does not play this. I could be dead wrong. Fallout 76 community, y'all can come for me, rightfully so. I don't know what's going on with the engagement, but it just feels like the room from the hardcore energy went all the way down with this. People were just like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Like I can see, like nobody wants you here. Nobody invited you to this club. Like you could have been in the blog post. Now look, I get it. It's a service game. I know you have to promote what new stuff is coming. In fairness, I get it. But like this was not what anybody was looking for. And yeah, bro, I felt for you on this. I was like, this feels like again another Fallout 76 getting in the way of a beloved Maddie Fallout 4 remaster, Fallout, 4 New Vegas or what have you. And yeah, I was just like, yeah, here we go again.
It's getting absurd now. It's getting absurd now. Like I'm willing to admit that Nuka World was a good expansion, or I should say event. Wastelanders was a good expansion. Like they've had moments of good stuff, and I've been rooting for them to like, okay, if this is the start of a new wave, coming off their last update, which was great, let's see what you got. Like, let's actually start to deliver. But at this point, I'm like, are you guys actually growing players? And I could be wrong on that, but are you actually growing players?
Correct.
And at a certain point, it starts to feel like, when things start to come your way in a positive direction. And I think we all know this, right? Maybe you run into a little more money in your life, your luck starts to turn around. People start to surround you a bit more of all types. You get the ones who are genuinely happy for you, and you get the ones who kind of want to reap some of the benefits of what you've built, right? The leechers, as I like to call them. Fallout 76 is a leecher, right? Like Bethesda built this brand on all these big single player games, from Bethesda Game Studios to Machine Games to Tango Gameworks to id Software to Arcane Studios. And then you got this dude culminate. He's like, hey, you guys got Game Pass? You guys got money? Oh my God, really? I got this game here. It's like they hand you this like soggy ass burger. It's like, I got this for y'all. Put this on the menu. People will buy it, I swear. They'll try it. It's like, you're a part of the family, Jerry. Okay, yeah, sure, why not? Shout out to Jerry. Like, that's the type of energy I'm getting here. This at 76 is just that dude who's like, oh, I'm friends with well-off people, but I'm not so well-off myself. So
yeah, it's like you have to review it. There's always that family member that not everyone's excited to see when they walk through the door. It's just like, oh man, it's Jerry again. Like, it's like we ain't really, you family technically, but it's like we could miss you this for you, bro. So that's where I'm at. This could have been a developer direct, as far as I'm concerned. And listen, please, Fallout 76 community, correct me if I'm wrong. If there is engagement, if there's a uptick in the PC gaming, or some place where we're seeing growth, then I will stand corrected. I will bend the knee. But for me, I didn't hear of it, didn't know of it, so I was surprised to see this level of continued support for it.
Yeah, I mean, let's see here. Fallout 76 Steam player now. Obviously not the definitive one.
Correct.
Not bad. Actually, not bad. 5,000 in the last 30 minutes, 4,770, 7,100 in the last 24 hours.
Overall pop looking like overall pop.
Let's see here. It's been declining. Declining again. So they got a 300 player pop in March of this year. But otherwise, 300? They went down. Yes.
Wait, you said 3?
Yeah. They have not got above. Let's see. In the last. Oh my. Okay. Yeah. So.
Okay, what's up?
Their highest player count was after Fallout 76 Wastelanders dropped.
Okay.
In May of 2020. That was at 32,000. Since then, they have not gone above 20,000 peak players. So that's Steam.
That's Steam. Yeah. But again, it's not reflective of everything, but that is interesting to me. All right.
Next up, though.
Let's go.
I have to get the exact name for this. Kinitsugami Path of the Goddess. It's described on Xbox's Wire as a brand new title, which upholds Capcom's legacy of original and innovative works. This labor of love follows in the tradition of truly unique titles such as Okami and Shinsekai Into the Depths. Explore an incredible world in which traditional Japanese aesthetics are brought to stunning life by the power of the RE engine. Enjoy a unique gameplay experience blending action and strategy. Witness an epic clash between Spirit Realm and Mortal Man. This is coming day one to Game Pass, and this is what we meant by like, yo, other Japanese companies are showing out here. Capcom, definitely out of everything they've shown in the last number of years, probably the least fanfare style game. Like you got the Dragon's Dogma, you've got the Resident Evil, and the list goes on. But they managed to secure one for Game Pass here, and I'm curious as to your thoughts on Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess.
Pleasant surprise. I like this one. I
Okay.
thought this. Yeah, I like this one. This looked colorful. It looked stylish. You know, I'm a big fan of the martial arts. I started to see almost some Wing Chun movements, some nice sword movements. You know, a little bit of demonic things going on, evil things going on. But you know, homeboy looked like he was protecting, you know, the Geisha, whatever he was doing. But like, I thought it looked cool. I can't say I had a definitive idea of what the moment-to-moment gameplay all the way is, but rewatching it right now while I'm talking to you, it just looked absolutely stunning to me. I thought it was a type of game that I don't historically associate with Xbox, and I think that this is refreshing. I thought that for this to be a game, it's no excuse for me not to try this. You know what I mean? So again, it kind of reminds me of when I saw Naraka for the first time. Like, this is a game that doesn't traditionally hit Game Pass or Xbox in general. And the fact that it's, from my understanding, right, a new IP, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen this. Capcom, that's a big deal. Let's get these type of relationships going. So I'm all about the new IP, Japanese, Asian focused, launching on Game Pass. These are the things I like to see from the team. So COG is in, you know what I mean? Now it's just a matter of how good is it once we really get our mitts on it. So that's where I'm at with it.
It reminds me a lot of, by the way, shout out to the RE Engine, just does everything. It just can't miss. It reminds me of Demon Slayer, though. If anyone's ever watched the anime for Demon Slayer, you'll notice like when Tanjiro does a certain cut with his blade, like you'll see water kind of follow it almost, and various other characters have different trails for their blades. And this gameplay and the visual style of it really reminded me of that. So it looks like almost a dance, but action focused. So yeah, I'm interested to learn more for sure. Like it, I'm glad that they got something here from Capcom. I'm glad they're working on that relationship, because when you look at like Resident Evil and stuff, it seemed like them and PlayStation were pretty close. So to kind of right this wrong, last year we saw like, okay, cool, we're getting Street Fighter, for example, as an announcement. Like, good, you know, they're not missing that type of stuff. So Capcom slowly joining the fold here. I think this is a great one for them to get, and it does look good for sure.
Yeah, love it.
Pleasant surprise is the perfect term. Sorry, go on.
Agree. Pleasant surprise. And again, for a person who, like myself, who has martial arts sensibilities, I saw a lot that reminded me of Wing Chun, which is a graceful but really powerful art. And the sword play, I see like a very stylized martial arts flair to it that people who are fans of martial arts are going to love this game. So at least gravitate towards it, I should say.
Next up, Forza Motorsport. Know your place, Reddit. Know your place, YouTube. This is where Maddie takes his victory lap.
Let's go. You called it.
I reported it. I fucking said this shit's coming in October. And here's why I take this victory lap, Cog. It was one of those moments where it burned in my skull. When I saw the Reddit post, someone sent it to me, like, yo, Maddie, you're on Reddit. I'm like, okay. It's like, let's see what people are complaining about. I click on it. I look. See top comment. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. I'm like, oh. It's like, okay. Cool.
All right.
I see other people, YouTuber who thinks he's an insider. I'm not. I see that type of stuff. So yeah, I said multiple victory laps for the Dukes. But y'all, I'm not an insider. But when I got my info now, since Starfield and where we all thought it was coming out way earlier, since then I drew my line. I said, you know what? I don't want to be an insider. But I am privy to information, and when I have it, I will share it. And that's because your boy has a chance of being right most of the time. So Forza Motorsport's coming out October 10th this year, following up Starfield. So that's the back-to-back this year. And I love what Xbox did, Cog. They didn't dominate the stage. It was just in and out. I could not have been... I knew that they were just thinking of me, because pedal to the metal, literally, they're like, yep, this is a rip-roaring show, and we ain't stopping for nobody but Starfield. which gets a nice big showcase itself. Bro, in all seriousness, I know this is a major temple for Xbox, but when it showed up, I gotta be honest, Xbox had to keep the pace because this is, to me, where the bumpiest ride happened with these next set of games.
I feel you.
Where I'm like, okay. Like, we're kind of up and down here. And Forza is a very popular game, but I think of it a lot like Sea of Thieves. It's not the sexy game. And you got to be aware of that in the showcase. It's like, okay, the community's established. Let the community find it, but don't say, oh, well, we get 20, 30 plus million players in Horizon. It should be on stage for 10 minutes. It's like,
Right.
chill with that. So I'm happy that they came out and they said, yo, here's our game. It looks amazing. Here's us tuning up the car. And then it's coming October. Maddie was right. Boom. So, Cog, your thoughts, sir, on Forza Motorsport and all we saw?
You are hilarious, first of all. Yeah, it was like, yo, it was great. And they got it in and out, and they got it off the stage quick. You are hilarious. Shout out to the Forza community. They got to be laughing right now. But no, look, you're right. First of all, give you your kudos. You know what I mean? Obviously, with the sourcing and stuff like that, that was dead money. You know what I mean? Everyone that was clowning. Look at y'all now. You know what's funny? I love the comment boys, but you never see the comment boys when they wrong, and they be like, "Yo, Manny, my bad. I was wrong on that. Yo, Cog, my bad. I was wrong." You don't never see that comment in the comment boys. I find that hilarious. But anyway, moving on. Look, it showed what it does what Forza do. It looks like a graphical powerhouse. The thing looks phenomenal. I love the two featured cars that they had going on. You got your tweaking, you got all your stuff. I was surprised, in your defense, I was surprised they didn't go deep. I thought we were going to get that deep, torque, and we're going to go with the engine. So again, maybe Maddie's theory is right about developer directs will serve as those really in-depth things. But I thought in your defense, I thought for the sake of a showcase, where even though it is a very popular brand and it's one of the most dominant racing series going, they moved it along and they got it in, they got it out. They gave you your date and boom, pushed it going. So yeah, shout out to them. I thought it looked phenomenal. Good showcase of the power of the system.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it just showed to me there, like, again, I know I like to crack my jokes, but to me it said, we get it. Not that Forza can't show out, not that Forza can't take up stage time, but it showed that they understood we have so much here. We can't pause for anybody. And the mission was definitely, let's deliver a lot of games in quick succession and not leave room for us to talk. We don't need to get up here and be preachy about things. Yes. Let's just let them talk. And so me, when Forza was quick, it was like, okay, that's where I feel like the message registered. I'm like, even this, which is typically a slow down. Let's take a good 5 minutes at this. Again, probably the longest showing when I scrolled through this list was probably Hellblade 2. And it may not have even been as long. It was just that and Fallout 76, I got to say, had what I think were the longest showings in the terms of trailers. But it was very snappy, which I appreciated.
Agreed.
We saw Elder Scrolls Online Necrom expansion, which is coming out just 9 days from today as we record this, June 20th, my birthday. So that'll be out that day. And looks solid, but I don't have much to say on this one personally.
Yeah, Necrom. Look, anything Elder Scrolls does for the online community, the game is, still looks phenomenal. Not much to say. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go crazy about it, but look, they're rocking and rolling. You know it's going to be there in some fashion, but again, in, out, that was my main thing. Don't stay too long with it.
Yeah, I agree. This one was kind of strange because I was almost like confused about what was going on here. Overwatch 2. So I turned to the Xbox Wire for this, and they said, Overwatch 2 Invasion is almost here. Immerse yourself in all new ways to play with story missions, a new support hero, Flashpoint game mode, hero mastery, firing range, and group up with friends in a brand new co-op experience. New maps, new missions, new game modes, and new experiences await in the largest Overwatch 2 content drop yet. Claim the Overwatch 2 New Hero Starter Pack with Game Pass Ultimate perks at release on August 10th to get instant access to 6 new heroes, legendary skins, and in-game cosmetics. So I don't know if you noticed something, but they started off like Activision Blizzard Presents, right? And I was like, oh, okay. A little teaser of what this could look like down the stretch, right? Because they did Bethesda Presents in the Xbox Showcase. So I saw a little bit of that. But dude, this was like what we've been asking for. Those cutscenes, the interaction, the animation quality. I was almost like, wait, bring me back. Bring me back. I want to play a little bit here. What were your thoughts, sir?
I'm mixed because on one hand, I thought it showed well. I thought it looked well. I'm with you on the sense that I thought it was very interesting for them to be on the stage with Overwatch. To me, this is just reflective of we are going to slowly nudge and inform you that Activision, Blizzard, and us are very close. And
Mm-hmm.
to me, this is the ABK dealings in the background. And I wouldn't be surprised based on what the tea leaves are saying if they decide to move forward and get concessions with the CMA or carve out the UK or whatever these rumors we're hearing. They are letting the ABK relationship be known. And I think that's what this served to me. This was more of a like, hey, you're going to get all these things in Game Pass Ultimate, which is what kind of like the Xbox Wire post implied.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be honest, I was a little surprised it was there. I was, not that Overwatch is not worthy, but I was just like, I didn't expect you to be here, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Same.
So I thought the placement was very interesting. I just thought it was more of messaging to me. That's what I looked at it.
Yeah, one of the rare double dips too. There were double dips, of course, throughout the entire show. With a lot, this was the stretch of the double dips, really, with Elder Scrolls Online, with Forza, with Fallout 76. But this on a third party level was kind of surprising. But I mean, what they showed was exciting to me. Definitely got me a little more on board with what was happening there.
No doubt.
But then the resuscitation, it's in. They clear, and Maddie's back. Persona 5 Tactica, November 17th this year, bro. Game Pass day one. I want your thoughts on this first. You know why?
Yes.
XCOM style, tactics style. I was like, wait, this might be, I mean, the art style, little bit creepy cog at the park, but oh, wait, you're giving me the thumbs up. Okay, let's hit me with it. Hit me with it.
No, I was in. And the minute I said, Addict, I said, that's Persona 5. What's going on with this one? I said, this is the one for me. He's like, yeah, that's tactics. Bro, oh, you got a new genre for COG? Oh, this might be like this. What it reminded me of is why I got excited. As much as you hate Ichiban, why I got excited for Like a Dragon, because it was stylized turn-based. And to me, that's the evolution of the genre. Stylized, flashy, cinematic story. That's when you're going to get the turn-based in me to really get excited. Bro, this looked really good. I see Joker in there. I seen the crew. I'm like, okay, bro, I'm very much interested. And I was surprised by the release date. That's what threw me off.
Soon.
I thought, yeah, this was going to be like a next year kind of situation. And this was, no, we getting this. So nice, pleasant surprise. And I was like, oh, Maddie got to be crazy. If I'm hyped, I don't know what you was thinking. So I was like, let's go.
Yeah, I was tremendously excited by this one, man. I'm one of the people who really like how Atlas does their spinoffs for the Persona franchise. A lot of people kind of moan about it, like, oh man, here we go again. Like, another set of spinoffs. You get your dancing games. In the case of Persona 5, you get a warrior style game. Now we're getting a tactics style game. You get Persona Q. You get all these games, right? And to me, it just grows your love for the cast. But for other people, they're like, give me 6 quicker. And Atlas did promise a quicker turnaround. And it's been since Persona 5 came out in 2017. It's been a while. So we're nearing 7 years next year. And I enjoy them personally. And this one looks like a fun little twist. I will say, character-wise, I didn't feel the inspiration in the terms of like when Zenkichi, I think his name is, shows up in Persona 5 Strikers, or when they showed some of the gameplay for Strikers, I was like, this is just like 5, but an action game. Wait, hold up. With this one, it almost felt like, how do we excuse making a Persona 5 game into a tactics game? Which I'm okay with. They showed this new mechanic where you can like do a triangle attack and just hit a whole zone on the map. And it reminded me a lot of Mario and Rabbids, which I am a huge fan of. So it looks wonderful on a gameplay level. Story-wise, I know this may be surprising to some people, but I don't know. I don't know what to expect here. I hope it does surpass my expectations, but they're kind of low for this because it didn't seem story-driven at all. They weren't showing many cutscenes or in-game dialogue. It definitely looked lower budget too compared to their other spinoffs, but I mean, it's more Persona 5. Like, you're not going to get an argument out of me. Day one Game Pass, Xbox, good. This is what we've been asking for, man. This type of support. This is what we need, bro. So shout out to Sega. Shout out to Atlas for being willing participants. And shout out to the Xbox fans. Keep playing these games. You get more of them. That's how it works.
Quick question, because you got to educate me.
Sure.
So again, this is a spinoff, but it's a new spinoff. This has never existed.
Yes.
Prior.
Yep.
My plan is coming together. Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
What's your plan?
No, because the thought from some, because again, it warms my heart whenever I see an Atlas name comes up on the screen.
Yes,
just warms my heart. So again, just for the reiteration, it's a new spin-off IP on a franchise that has not existed anywhere else. I just needed to be clear, like this was somewhere else, and now they're bringing it over. This is new, right? Yes. And that's the theme I want to keep hearing to support my selfish theory.
No, dude, I think it's a really great thing to hammer home is that this is a new Persona game. And a lot of people, we have write-ins about Persona 6 that we'll get into with a certain other Persona-like game later in this show. But yeah, like to see Atlas saying, you know what, we're going to bring our new game to your stage says a lot. Tokyo Game Show is a handful of months away. I mean, something like Persona 5 Tactica, like you probably you can't hold until that time, but something like, I think Persona 3 Reload, you could have. So for them to get that, it shows there's something there that they benefit from it in, especially again, because it's beyond just the handshake of, okay, we'll show you our trailer. It's like, and we'll do Game Pass. It says that there's a lot more there in my eyes, personally.
I agree.
I marked this one down just as sort of an interesting note during the showcase. We got a full Starfield trailer in the middle of all this. And they said at the end, "Oh, hey, we'll see you for the direct." But I mean, it was like a good taste of what's to come. And when you think that when I got that, I'm like, oh, okay, it's gonna be like 20 minutes. We got 45 minutes, bro. So just a reminder, like in the middle of this, we get a Starfield trailer that looks damn good. Any thoughts you want to throw out, or should we wait for a whole Starfield segment?
I have thoughts.
You have thoughts? Hit me with them.
I have thoughts. I'm gonna annoy the Xbox community.
As if I haven't already.
Kind of necessarily like this.
You didn't like this?
No, I didn't. Okay. Listen, I get it. The thought process is probably, look, there's some people who are not going to stay around and wait and see a 45-minute direct or 30-minute direct of this game. So we don't want to lose those people, right? Maybe I'm just nitpicking, but we'll get why I'm ultimately redeemed later. But there was a part of me like, man, I don't want to see you. You said you was going to be there. So it was part of me was like, you taking a spot from something else. Like, I know it's weird to say this about Starfield, but there was a small part about me, Batty. I was a little disappointed to see. Not that the trailer looked bad.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? Just like you told me you not going to be here, so why are you in the club early? Like, you supposed to come on that, you know what I mean? Like, so that was just my little nitpick. I had to take a little point away because I just wanted to not see you and see nothing but new games. That was it. But did it show bad?
Would you say you were a little spoiled, sir, perhaps?
Yes.
With all the new stuff you were getting, that this bothered you when it probably may not have before.
Correct. So remember, this was in that middle of that lully period. Yes, Persona brought it up, but remember, we had the fallout. We had a little bit of a lull. So then I'll tell you why. I got a little nervous because I was like, oh no, you're showing you. And I was thinking PlayStation Showcase energy when they showed Final Fantasy 16. I'm like, we see you, like we gonna see you later. Like maybe I over panic. I admit I definitely panicked at this moment. So thankfully the show ended up being the way it ended, the way I loved it, the way it ended. But at that moment, I have to be honest, I didn't like seeing stuff right there.
I respect it. I respect that you were demanding a little more new stuff on top of all the new stuff we got. No, I like it. I totally get where you're coming from. For me, I think I may have felt the same way internally because I almost glazed over it because I was just like, well, I'm going to see at least a decent amount of you later, or this trailer will likely be repeated later, which I don't think it was. So,
I agree. I don't think it was either.
which was crazy to think about just how much content was there. But I feel you on that for sure. After this, we get what's called a game called Jusant. It's from Don't Nod. It's coming out fall of this year, and it's coming day one to Game Pass. A kind of mountain climbing experience, if you will. And one of those more rare in the terms of everything we saw here, vibey games. And again, I don't have much of quality to throw out there in terms of commentary, but I'm curious if you had anything on this game.
This be one of them little cog, artsy fartsy cog kind of games. I admit this is an artsy fartsy. I'm interested. I like the art style. I mean, I don't know how sold I am on if the mechanic is just climbing all day, but I thought it did enough for me to be a little interested. And again, I believe Game Pass with this. Don't Not generally has a good reputation. I've been rocking with them, I believe, since the Life is Strange days. Like, Don't Not's been around for a long time. So I'm willing to give this one a shot. You know what I mean? It had just enough that I'm like, okay, I'm a little curious about you. You got my attention. But yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I thought it looked good. I mean, especially the I don't want to sound like I'm just looking for things to praise here, but the attention of detail of which they climbed and the animations and kind of like when he threw the grappling hook and ran along the wall, there was a sense of momentum that felt tangible where I went, this is way smoother than it has any right to be. And when I think of Don't Nod, it's funny. I think of like you, I think of Life is Strange, but I think of what we saw during the Summer Games Fest showcase with Banishers, A Ghost of New Eden. I think of Vampire. To me, that's what Don't Nod is at the top of their game. Vampire is one of my favorite games from last gen. I think it's criminally underrated. And so when I see them doing something like this, kind of an underappreciated studio, they do the more narrative focused games. Then they do these cool action RPGs. And then they do something like this with a completely different art style. So they're kind of cooking. Keep an eye on them. But that's why I'm kind of interested in this game when I'm typically not into this style. It looks engaging is how I'd put it.
I agree.
This one I got to search for here on the Xbox Wire strictly because it was one of the few that I couldn't really get a feel for what it was. It's called Still Wakes the Deep. It is described on the Xbox Wire, a return to the first-person narrative horror genre from the creators of the critically acclaimed Dear Esther, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, and Amnesia: Machine for Pigs. A Glaswegian oil rig worker must fight for his life through a visceral storm, claustrophobic surroundings, thick, dark, and perilous North Sea waters. All communications are cut off, exits are gone. The only way to defeat the horror aboard is to face it. Rush to escape the terrifying, strange entity that had besieged the rig. It's aware of you and it needs you. Climb, hide, and swim through tight, warping corridors and storm-lashed iron decks. Search for your crew and help them survive. Someone is trapped in the galley, another needs you to restore the power, and something strange is happening in your pain-in-the-ass boss. Through it all, you just pray to hear your daughter's voice one last time. I kind of got a horror vibe from the trailer, but I'm curious if this was one that grabbed your attention at all.
I mean, that blog post pretty much described way more than the actual trailer conveyed. It was, to me, this particular one felt a little PlayStation Showcase energy. I couldn't get anything out of it. It didn't look bad. I saw the part where he was like shimmying against the wall. He was on an elevated thing and he knocked over a can or something. And all right, like I didn't get any idea what the gameplay was. To me, again, not that you shouldn't have been here. Okay, clearly Xbox is excited about this, but I don't feel this trailer did the game any significant justice for me to get excited about it. So I'm indifferent. I don't want to completely rag on it. I just think this, again, you got to show a little bit more. If you're going to come outside like this, you got to show a little bit more, unless you're some established IP that we already know what you're about, right? So that's just where I was at with it. So I was like, all right, well, guess I got to see more because I didn't learn too much from this.
I get it. After this, we get Dungeons of Hinterberg. This is coming early 2024. Sorry, I forgot to mention. Still Wakes the Deep, early 2024, and day one Game Pass. Apologies. Dungeons of Hinterberg, also early 2024, also day one Game Pass. On Xbox Wire, it's described as this. Armed with a sword and a tourist guide, explore the beautiful alpine village of Hinterberg and uncover the magic hidden within its dungeons. Master magic, solve puzzles, and slay monsters. All this and more await you in Hinterberg. Prepare to go on vacation to a modern-day village in the... Wait, is this... No, this is... Okay, sorry. When they said in the Austrian Alps, at first I thought this was like an accidental typo from like over in the Microsoft Flight Sim section. Let me reread that. I wanted to stop myself here because I saw hiking and skiing as well. I was like, what the hell? Prepare to go on a vacation to a modern-day village in the Austrian Alps, but instead of hiking or skiing, you'll be slaying monsters, hunting for loot, and solving puzzles. 25 magical dungeons have recently appeared throughout Hinterberg, and monster slaying has become a major tourist attraction, drawing adventurers from all over the world to the small village. I thought this was going to be a Hi-Fi Rush expansion when I first saw the opening of the trailer and the art style, but this one looks really good. Some frame drops here or there, but I was a fan of it. I really like this comic book art style. The action looked good. The camera angles changed a lot, so it felt like there was the gameplay diversity here. A lot of puzzles. It looked like a good one to invest in for Game Pass. Did you feel the same, though, sir?
Yes, actually, I like what I see. I thought it was unique. I thought, what was it, little sword surfing or whatever, she was doing. Like you said, the vantage points from going side to side. Third party was a part where she was in like almost like a train roller cart kind of thing. I thought that was dope. It looked interesting. It's definitely like a card game. It's like a game I would definitely be interested on the indie side. It showed, I felt fairly distant. Was it perfect technically? No. But the art style really looked cool. I liked what I saw from it. The more I saw of it, I was like, no, this actually looks really interesting.
Awesome. Yeah, I was a fan of the action for sure. So that one's coming out early 2024, day one Game Pass. Now we're nearing the end of the show. And next up, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. It's coming out September 26th. So for my fans of both Starfield or really just Bethesda Game Studios, my fans of Liza P, my condolences. We're gonna have to make some business decisions. We're gonna have to make some tough business decisions this year because that is a busy month with some really strong competition. With that said, Cog, what did we think of Keanu Reeves taking the stage once more to promote a little bit of Cyberpunk?
Keanu, he was a little extra this one. I don't know. He felt like
doing a lot of this, a lot of air squeezing. Yeah.
He was a little extra with this one, which was kind of interesting to me. But look, Idris is in the building. We got new content. It looks substantial. I was actually a little mixed. That didn't show well. It looked good. I thought we got a good idea of what's going on, what I'm saying, with the agents and stuff like that. But again, it ends and I'm like, okay, when we getting this? I saw that month and I'm like, oh man. Like, and based on what we're going to talk about next, nobody need to be dropping in September. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to say that.
Is it almost disrespectful that they're invading your September?
Just move your date, bro. Move your date. Like, I'm on that type of, and I'm meat on the table energy right now. Move your date. You're not playing outside with the big, somebody's here. You know what I'm saying? Somebody is here now, and you're going to learn that it's not wise, because what we're going to talk about next, even if you cyberpunk, I don't care what you doing, move your date. Like, I know what's going to happen. So that kind of hurt me, because I was like, man, could you have been August? Man, could you have been maybe, October, November or something like. Oh, Maddie, it pains me to say this. This is no disrespect to this. It looked great, but it could only be one. And you ain't the one. Sorry. I've just got to be real selfish with it. God is home. God is home. We'll get to it.
We definitely will. I, on the other hand, plan to make time for this one. I totally get the business decision for you. 100% Starfield's looking like a certain game that's going to absorb hundreds of hours. But Phantom Liberty, bro, I feel like Cyberpunk earned my time when it first came out. I feel like they earned my respect with how they handled the launch, post-launch cycle, I should say. And I feel like with Phantom Liberty, it's a chance at redemption. I feel like as someone who has been championing this game even during the period of time where targets painted on my back, I'm looking over my shoulder in every video, just like, man, who's coming after me now? Because I was defending this game to the death because I thought that Cyberpunk was that dude. I really thought beneath the bugs, the glitches, I was like, this is an amazing game. And after the next gen update, I think a lot more people were willing to see that. So now we get this true next gen expansion, 30 buckaroos, pretty high price. But the previews, COG, have come out and the streets are talking, and it has been a strong positive impression. Now, where we will hold ourselves back, unlike we did last time, is when there were 5-hour impressions for the first time Cyberpunk came out. They were also extremely positive. CD Projekt Red knows how to market a wet noodle, bro. They can sell you anything. So keep in mind that this is part of their past, but I'm going to hope that they have learned some valuable lessons in how they communicate and how they show out, and that this was a prove-it moment for them, and that giving the press hands-on time was not to trick them, but given that their massive turnaround has occurred, that it was to just say, look what we've done and appreciate us. And so when I look at the focus of the story being on like, V, I can save your life right away, I'm in. I need to know what's happening with this story because that is a major part of Cyberpunk's main campaign. And now you're telling me that in the middle of this mission with espionage and helping the new president of the United States, that I'm going to be saving my own life too? That's what Cyberpunk is about to me, this intricate narrative that weaves all these threads together and somehow makes sense of it. Like, how do you connect this escort mission with saving my life? How? And what are the tough choices I'm going to have to make? I am very excited for this one. So I will be making time for it because they have delivered before in my eyes and they will deliver again. And while I am so excited for Starfield, Cyberpunk, I will make room for you. Come on in. We got an open seat in the back.
Absolute, man. You're a good man. You're a good man. Shout out to CDP, y'all. I love y'all. Like, I'm with you, Batty. The comeback story is for the ages. I've been playing it. I've seen it on the Steam Deck, playing it, on the plane, cross save, all that stuff. I was just hoping July, August. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize it was going to be later. So it just threw me off. So when I see a 9 on your date, so look, if you want to put out that little blog post and say, delay, do this some further, tweaking that we may need. If you want to put out a blog post.
Look, I would not complain.
CDPR, I love it. This is just cog being selfish. That's all. This is complete
understandably
self.
so, though.
So that's all. I want to give you the time you deserve. So just move that date just a little bit.
I am curious if they will consider it because I think Cyberpunk is popular enough to gain mindshare. But look, you're coming 20 days after Starfield. Granted, with a certain early access program, there's an even bigger gap. So I just feel if you're another first-person RPG, it may behoove you to consider the shift.
And I know it's not same genre. Mortal Kombat is that month, bruh.
Oh.
You gotta stay
Someone's
out of
moving.
September. Like, this is not the time to be. No, this is not the time. Check your ego. Move your date. God is here. Let's get to it.
He has risen indeed. All right, we got a handful more.
Let's go.
City Skylines 2. My chat lit up for this, bro. They were hyped. October 24th, day one Game Pass. This is a big one. I have not played City Skylines, but this is a big one. And I got to say, the depth at which you build these cities with in this trailer impressed me greatly. I was pretty blown away by how intricate the systems looked. I'm curious, did you have some positive thoughts on this one, sir?
Absolutely. I've never played one of these before. And, it gave me it felt like next level. Like, as a guy who used to play SimCity from back in the day, like, this felt like next level intricate SimCity, to the highways, to the structures, and the way the sky, like, the cities just looked beautiful. They looked really inhabited, lived in, like a real world architectural type of game. Like, I was just like, yo, this looks really impressive. This is something I will try out on Game Pass just to see. I've never played one. This is where Game Pass is awesome, right? Like, I would not spend that money. I'm just going to be brutally honest on a game, even though I'm intrigued and curious. But for a Game Pass to have this type of game in it, I will now say, okay, let me see what you're about, as I've never played a City Builders before. But yeah, it looked really good. I thought it showed well.
It's one of those self-preservation moments where I would love to play it, but I just, again, Civilization 5, there's never been a more impactful moment in my gaming career than starting up that campaign and watching 18 hours of my life disappear just before my eyes. Like they were just, it's as if they were ripped out from a timeline. Like God was looking at the reel and just pulled that shit out. And it just went black for me for a moment. And I just woke up 18 hours later. It was like one of those moments. And it was there. I went, no, never again. Never again. And I was in college, right? I had the opportunity to be irresponsible. So it's like now, as a grown ass man, I mean, I want to get involved. I want to be a city builder, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I can do it. That the free time that would be chewed up by this. If we can do a little xCloud action, we'll talk. Because I think then we can get something going there. But this looked amazing. And I think this is another great Game Pass get. So also console Game Pass, which I think City Skylines was already on console. I'm very confident in that. But to know it's like day one with console is awesome because it looks like a PC style game.
Yeah, this is a definitely day one COG style game. I would try it. Like, play their cards right. You might make a Game Pass pick of the week one of these months. If I'll tell you, these are the type of games I know I like. I usually get into these type of games, but it's always access and then timing of when it drops. But I got my eye on this. I'm really hopeful for this one for some weird reason.
All right, COG. This is it. This is a moment that we have been waiting for if you're in the Atlas fandom. Metaphor ReFantazio. I don't fucking know what they were smoking on that name, but it's from the creators of Persona 3, 4, and 5. Shoji Meguro's in the building, so my man made the Persona soundtrack. The directors of Persona are in the building. This is a Persona game, but it's fantasy, and it's got a job system. Dude, I watched this trailer a handful of times. I was sitting there just like, give me that. It's coming 2024. There's no exclusivity or anything. There's no Game Pass. I will throw this out there, though. And this is the same over on Atlas's site for Persona 3 Reload.
Okay.
But I think it's a good little nugget of information that our defining Duke audience can snack on.
Which is?
As of this moment in time, if you were to surf over to the official website for Metaphor ReFantazio, you will see that the only listed systems are Xbox and PC.
Really?
Now like I said, Persona 3 Reload has a similar situation. And I imagine if Xbox locked this one down, you would have seen that Game Pass logo. But this is a brand new IP, y'all. And it's very possible that they could have swept it. Now, I don't want to get carried away with that because it's not official yet. I dug before the show because I'm like, I want to. If this is an exclusive, that changes the entire conversation. But point being, another Atlas game has shown up. This time, a fantasy-style Persona game. COG, does this one speak to you a little bit more? A little less high school energy, a little more I'm a wizard energy?
Well. Yet again, that Atlas logo seems to come back up on the screen. And new IP debuting on the Xbox platform. And look, man, I didn't see... At first, I go for it. I got a little gas. I thought, is this Persona 6?
I did think that for a moment. I'm right there with you.
I got super gas. I'm like, no, this looks like something different. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, serious energy, serious vibe, like in the cityscape. I'm rewatching the trailer right now, and it's giving that full scale, that fantasy RPG vibe. You could see the Persona sensibilities. You see what's going on, even down to the fonts and the logos or certain things. And I was like, yeah, that's that Persona sensibility. But look, this is super impressive to me, regardless to even if it's not exclusive and if it's not Game Pass. The fact that it debuted a new IP JRPG on the Xbox stage from one of the gods of this is a huge deal. We are not going to minimize that. Again, there's nothing fruitful out of the relationship with Sega. I don't want to. I need y'all knees. I need my apologies because y'all was talking very strong. I remember the chats and the write-ins and where's the write-in? Yo, we was wrong. This is what we want to see. Like, this is what we want to see from Xbox moving forward these diversity in these type of games. But nah, straight up, this looks really cool. I'm happy to see it. And again, this gives me hope. Things from them are not gonna miss the platform. And to your point earlier, I think we got a new boo. Like I look like she moving different. You know what I'm saying? Alice moving this. Somebody's liking how things are going. So hey, let's see. Continue. I won't get too gassed, but this was super cool to see.
Yeah, I mean the cutscene and presentation quality here was of higher quality. There's almost like skateboarding too. I'm watching the trailer again. I'm just like, what is this game, man? I'm a huge fan of it. You can even see like the day counters on the right, the menus they cooked again.
Yeah.
I'm all over this one, bro. They did a
up.
great job with it. They describe it in the Xbox Wire as the following. From the creative minds of the Persona series, Metaphor ReFantazio marks Atlus's first ever full-scale fantasy RPG, brought to you by director Katsura Hashino, character designer Shigenori Sojima, and composer Shoji Meguro. Write your destiny and rise above fear as you step into a fantasy world unlike anything you've seen before. Fraught with unsettling mystery, the kingdom stands on the precipice. Now, you must embark on a journey overcoming obstacles and transforming your bonds with friends into strength. Metaphor ReFantazio is developed by Studio Zero. And dude, this is one of those things where like they showed the confidant type of stuff. Like you saw two people shaking hands and it was like rank one. And I went, yo, that's like what I'm talking about, man. So this game looks phenomenal. Katsura Hashino, Shoji Meguro, Shojima. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting your name. Yo, y'all are cooking. Take your time. Shigenori Sojima, sorry. Y'all are cooking. Take your time. This looks like a masterful work of art. I cannot wait.
And I want to it's giving me some Final Fantasy VII Remake, like with the party and then like all three running together. But me, I always like the setup for the confrontation before the boss battle. And I like the angles, the camera angles they're using in it. And that looked really impressive. It looks like it's giving that full scale production value on that type. And yeah, it looks like that vintage, with the Persona sensibilities on top of it. So yeah. It looks.
I just want to read this right in, by the way, Cog, because we did answer this question.
Let's go.
It gives you your flowers a little bit here.
Oh, let's go.
Unkept Talk writes, "Hey Dukes, fantastic showcase. Avowed looked incredible. South of Midnight had a fantastic vibe, and Persona, of course. Starfield looks phenomenal, even if we didn't get a word on frame rate during the main showcase, which we have info on now. We'll talk about it later. I'd love to hear your impressions on Metaphor ReFantazio, since this was probably right up there with Persona 3 Reload and Starfield in the terms of excitement for me. What are the Dukes thinking? And how does this continue to highlight that the partnership between Sega and Xbox was about games? Have a fantastic day."
Unkept, my mans, talking that talk. Exactly. That's all we try to say. You see, again, the fruits of this relationship continuing to flourish, and it's evident with stuff like this. So yeah, well, good catch. That's all I wanted to say. Someone wrote in and said it, and I'm glad they said it, because that was the talk for a long time.
Now, on this note, because this is the last of Persona-like games we see here, Don Otaku writes, "What up, Clockwork Cog and Midnight Maddie? I need a fresh gut check on the chances of Persona 6 releasing day one on Xbox with no timed exclusivity for PlayStation. After the Atlus new IP Metaphor was debuted at the showcase and curiously has not announced any platforms outside of Xbox and PC even on their website, I find it increasingly harder to believe the rumors that PlayStation secured exclusivity for Persona 6. Are you guys feeling the same? Having it feels good to be an Xbox fan kind of day. Hey, we don't see that kind of capper often. Hey, enjoy that. Enjoy that.
Shout out to Don. That's the homie. He goes hard. This is a good one, man. And listen, I got to be honest. I am torn because there's a part of me that is preaching this is a new day, right? Atlus is booed up. Everything is good. But we got to remember, sometimes a lot of these deals, man, they happen 3, 4, 5 years before, right? So there is a chance that Soft may have my knees, because if PlayStation did secure this with Persona 6 way before the Azure and the Sega partnerships, remember, they were in bed with them for a long time. Persona was always the mainstay at PlayStation. So there is a chance Sony could have jumped in early before this new fruitful relationship with Sega, right? The question is, does that carry on? I'm hoping against hope. I'm going down with the ship that I'm hoping Persona 6, still launches on the platform at the same time, but there's still a chance that there could be timed exclusivity. So I have to not rule that out. But where are you at with it? Where as this you see this, what is it, Mephisto Day? I can't even pronounce this damn new game. The game 5 got the worst.
Yeah. I couldn't even read what the name was. It's metaphor ReFantazio, but when they showed this off, bro, I was sitting there like, okay, this looks great. And then I wanted to know what it was called, and they showed this logo, and I'm like, what does that say? This name is gonna hurt them, I think. But
yes, I like that name.
Hopefully it's kind of like a Project Octopath moment where like they show it off and they call it Octopath Traveler.
Yes.
But anyway, definitely a weird name. I'll stick my neck out. I think Persona 6 will make it to Xbox. I find it increasingly hard to believe because now let's not mince, man. Let's not mince these words. Let's not mince with the reality of the situation. There are 2 new Persona games that, Game Pass aside, are coming day and date to Xbox. And I feel like it's communicating to me as a consumer. I'd be foolish not to think if I'm buying my system, that doesn't mean that the next mainline thing isn't coming to Xbox. Now, I think people are right to be hesitant and wary, and I certainly feel the same, but I'm willing to trust that Persona 6 will make it to the platform. I know eventually it will, but I don't think right now, Atlas, where they're at right now, this reminds me a lot, Cog, of the Yakuza growth. Okay. Yakuza was PlayStation for a long, long time. And then with Game Pass, Yakuza saw a big spurt of growth. And then moving into the release of Like a Dragon, it was everywhere at once. And I think it's the same thing here. We're growing Persona, growing spin-offs, Game Pass, ports. We're building. 6, it would make the most sense to me to just be everywhere, to kind of make that big global multi-platform push. Now, as you mentioned, though, a lot of these things come together later. So we're seeing the fruits of the labor, recently. Has enough been planted down where when this game started development, whenever it was, that they've been cooking this Xbox version for maybe 4 years, 5 years, right? That's a little bit of a tougher sell to me. And that's where I stutter step, where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if they actually, would they actually been working on an Xbox version all this time? But I want to believe. I feel like Xbox is showing enough commitment to JRPGs where, at least with a Sega game, I feel a little bit more like, okay, eventually I am the problem by not believing. Like, what more do you, once Persona 6 shows up, what else is, am I going to not trust them again? Facts. I don't know. I think for a while, until it becomes a continuous norm and we don't have blips on the radar like Mega Man and whatnot, it will still be uneven ground. But that's where Xbox has to do what they did this showcase. They have to have a continued Japanese presence and reassure us with releases like 6. But I think 6 will make it to the platform. I feel comfortable in saying that.
All right, I'm rolling with Maddie. Maddie, get me hype, bro. Maddie, got my strength back.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to provide. All right. Son of a bitch. My fucking video got age restricted. Sorry. I just noticed this. I got a little update, but we'll handle that after.
All right.
Towerborne. This is Project Belfry, for those who remember all our reports on that from Jez Corden. 2024, Xbox exclusive, day one Game Pass from the creators of the Banner Saga. This looks awesome. Like way, way more fun than I thought. It kind of reminds me a bit of Dragon's Crown, like 2D co-op, side-scroll, and beat-em-up, loot-based action. And they talked about evolving a world. Like, look, if y'all have not gotten on that Banner Saga trilogy, now is the time. This will it's acting like you had none. This will build a ton of confidence in this project. You will play it and understand, like, there's Mass Effect, which gets game after game after game story continuity. And then there's the Banner Saga, which truly elevates each time and lets your story and choice and consequence carry over into the next game and the next game. It's really impressive what they've done. So Towerborne looks great. Cog, your thoughts, sir?
Bro, I'm a huge Banner Saga fanboy. Like, I played them games, and it's a unique take on turn-based. And to me, the stories that they tell was just amazing. The consequences of your actions, all the things you do with your caravan, So when I hear this team, and then looks like, from speaking to shout out to my man Gene from Lords of Gaming, it looks like Microsoft might have this IP. It looks like they're working in conjunction with probably global publishing. So Towerborne seems maybe theirs, kind of thing. But look, co-op adventure, which is very intriguing to me to see Stoic with that little bit of budget. And this looks really cool. This looks really fun. Like, I'm a big fan of their game, so I'm dying to know what they cook up next. This looks really good. I'm not worried about the quality at all. It's just going to be how the story plays, if I'm interested in the characters long term and stuff like that. But yeah, this looked really good. A lot of people don't know who Stoic is, so if they knock this out the park like they did in Banner Saga, they're going to get their names right where it needs to be. So it's cool to see Stoic outside. They don't get enough credit. They have that Banner Saga trilogy is straight fire. Like, I'd highly advise people to play those games.
Absolutely. And so, Cog, really what the, if you will, just one more thing moment was in the terms of games, at least. Well, guess who it is? inXile. Here they are. Coming in due time, it said, is Clockwork Revolution, a steampunk, time-bending first-person shooter from the developers of The Bard's Tale, Wasteland 3. Cog, you were rubbing your hands. You told me early on this is one that you were very pleased with. So I'd love for you to take this one away.
Yeah, this blew me away. Tone. I love the narration. If I remember, whatever you do, we're going to manipulate you. You can't run. We will hunt you down. The art style, the steampunk, everything about it just screamed polished to me. What really blew my mind was the time altering aspects to it, the manipulation. And I'm like, okay, this is inXile. And I ain't going front, Maddie, for as high as I was coming in maybe years ago about compulsion, inXile said, bruh, there's levels to this. We are here. You know what I mean? And I love compulsion. We'll see more what you got to do, but inXile got this. They could have ended the show proper with this, in my opinion. I know Phil comes out, they do hardware reveal, they do, a couple other things, but this could have been the one more thing, in my opinion, in the show, and to say, hey, come back in 15 minutes and then we're going to give you Starfield. That's how impressive this was to me. I am super excited for this game. This game really blew my mind. Like, it was really impressive. Next to Fable and all this stuff, like, this was up there, man. I got to give NX. I told people, y'all sleeping. Matter of fact, the Dukes, we told y'all. This is the creators of Wasteland. I know people looked at it as this little rinky thing. Oh, it's bro, you haven't played the game. You don't know the level of intricacies. You don't know the storytelling. You don't know the choices, everything that they do. And I've been so invigorated by their social medias and their accounts. They're outside. So when I saw that, to me, that spelled confidence about what they was going to ready. Because they've been like supporting all the other Xbox Game Studios. Like, yo, we can't wait. So now Fargo and the team is here. Bro, y'all going to learn. Y'all going to learn to put some respect. And enough rambling, bloviating. I'm dying to know what you thought. Because me personally, I was really impressed.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I loved was that it felt very rooted in time travel and manipulation, but in the gameplay. Normally when we see that nowadays, I still enjoy it to a degree, but it's the multiverse. There's multiple versions of me and you. To see my man knock down a scaffolding, stick his hand out and repair it in real time kind of reminded me in a weird way, BioShock, Singularity. I got all the right vibes from this one. I had no doubt in inXile, but I have to even say it went beyond my expectations. Like, the shooting looked great. The familiarity of the energy inXile carries, like that kind of quirky, knee-jerk humor, kind of outlandish at times vibe was here. But then seeing the environments change, I think that's one of the best ways you could represent choices. And so one of their staff on Twitter said this is a full-fledged RPG. And that to me just, I was already in thinking, all right, BioShock style game, let's do it. But now you bring it up another level and you're like, yeah, guess what? Full-fledged RPG, count me in. The Xbox Wire, they describe it as this: the creators of Wasteland and Arcanum are bringing an incredible time-bending steampunk action RPG to Xbox Series X and S and PC. After stumbling across an incredible invention that allows you to travel into the past, you discover the city you call home. The vibrant, steam-powered metropolis of Avalon has been carefully crafted through the alteration of key historical events. By traveling back in time, your interactions and choices in the past will have a butterfly effect on the deep, narrative-driven world and the characters of Avalon, causing them to change and react in unprecedented ways. How cool does that sound?
Bro, sounds fire.
Right?
No,
like,
I'm sorry. Please
no, go ahead.
No, I was just blown away also, like graphically in this steampunk style. Like even the way I'm looking at the way the robots look, like everything about the city looks really dense and vibrant. The gunplay with the weapon, like everything about this screams very high quality to me. And again, I'm just looking at the trail, like everything about this world I want to see what's going on. And I want to shout out your Dishonored a little bit as far as
A little bit, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like whatever that style is, like
Whale punk, as they called it.
yeah, it just brings you in. It's a little classic-y, but it's a little future, and you got the steampunk, bro. They blew me away. I was like, oh, whoa, we're gonna have to really look at you in the hierarchy if you guys pull this one off, because this look crazy.
Very steampunk driven. Reminds me a bit of the Outer Worlds too, where a lot of propaganda pasted around the world, but they're saying deep narrative, story driven, full-fledged RPG. And when you see everything that's here, I mean, they're showing out, man. What a great show, or game, sorry, to cap off the show. I just love the concept of it to change the past to control your future. And just, I know in Exile after Wasteland 3, which we will talk about,
oh yeah,
I just know the spider webs that they can create. And you give them a time manipulation game, they're going to cook. They're going to cook. I guarantee it. Like, this is going to be a great game, at least on a narrative front. I will have some reservations on shooting because this is their, to me, at least, this is the first time they're really going after it in that way, right? Like, we know them for the isometric, the strategic style game. Now, they're a super talented team. I believe that they can do it. But, you know, I don't know if they're going to have that Fallout kind of transition where Bethesda moved into shooting. It's like, it works, you know. but I mean, it looked good from what we saw, for sure.
Bro, first of all, when I saw the gun design and the initial shows of the gunplay with the pistol, I was already like, they look like they on track. Now, granted, we ain't see the full product, the full loop. But you know what excited me is when that big N209 looking steampunk boss kind of thing. I love when what's that, like that threat level, when things are immense threat level combat. If you're introducing that into the game, you've already got me interested. So
yeah,
they're on the right track with me. But to your credit, yes, they got to prove it. We haven't seen them in that space. We just got to see that finish, moment-to-moment gunplay, if it hits, if it clangs. But I'm feeling bullish already. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I'm feeling like dudes don't know. I'm on the train for NXL right now. I'm hyped for them, man.
Now here's my question.
Let's go.
In due time, they say.
Yeah.
A lot of gameplay for in due time.
Very much so.
What are we thinking with this one? Very elusive. You know, it looks ready in so many ways, but I don't know, man. Like, is it 25? Do you think, or is it earlier? I want to say just based off the sheer volume of gameplay, 24, but then you're talking maybe 5 games in that 24 window from your first party. Someone's getting the bump.
Right. Good point. You nailed it, because they showed enough of it to feel like it's really moving along, right? But then it's like, if you're in due time and you can't commit yet, I think because of the intricacies of the time travel and stuff like that, it's probably way more complex than we think. So I'm going to say, it's weird to say we see this much and we might not see you till 2025, But this looks like a very ambitious game. So I'm going to pump the brakes. I'm going to say the reason why they did In Due Time is they don't want to lock themselves in
Mhm.
and throw the 2024 on it and then miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to say 2025 or some early 2025. That's where I'm going to go with this.
Yeah.
But hey, if they ready and they want to sneak out in 2024, I mean, according to Matt Booty behind the scenes in the media room, they are talking a 4 game cadence a year from first party. So we shall see.
Yeah, man. But again, what a great show. Or I keep saying show. What a great game to end the show on. And then we get a new piece of hardware. Little man looking a little nice in black, looking a little bigger this time around. Series S, 1 terabyte SSD, $349, coming out September 1st. Oh, Xbox, you coy son of a bitch. I know exactly what you're doing. Let's talk with Leah's Cool Jenkins. Hey, Dukes, how about that showcase? Are we happy? One thing I want to get your opinion on was the Series S 1 terabyte model. Do you think this is something we need? Surely a Series S owner who wants more storage would just buy an expansion card. In my opinion, a digital Series X would be much better. A smaller console, but with all the power of the X, is this something we might see in the future? Long live the little man. Thanks, as always, lads. Have a we eating good kind of day. Now, I have a theory.
I want to hear
I
it.
have a theory. Because of the timing of this release, I think they need to do this anyway for the digital-only console. Something tells me Starfield's file size might eat up a lot of your hard drive when you buy it for that early access package with the premium edition. Something's in my gut is just telling me this is a little bit of needed wiggle room for you. But, sir, you're the pioneer of the little man. You brought the phrase into the show, and you use it more than me. I'm a Series X guy. So I want to hear from you as someone who gets a lot of reps in with the Series S. How do you feel about more storage? And the price tag as well is new.
$349. I was surprised by this. I didn't expect any hardware to show like that outside of like controller, right, and the headset that leaked. But didn't see this coming. Obviously, little man in black. All right, 349, a terabyte. I think your theory might be sound too because they know Series S. They want to make that the driver, but based on what we saw for what we're about to talk about, the scope of a potential of a game that be dropping in September could be the biggest thing they've ever seen. And one of the things that I think Phil said at or he may have said it on in the conference call, at the showcase, was kind of like, we've heard you, and that, no, he may have said behind the scenes that we've heard you, and that the Series S, as great as it is from a storage, we've heard the complaint, so to speak, as far as, a couple of games and then you're done, right? As far as putting that on the thing. So yeah, I think your theory is sound yet again, which is if the game of the year potential exclusive on your console is going to run 100 plus something gigs, that would limit you. That would cripple you on your, because I don't even think you get the full 512. The OS and some other stuff takes up, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that would make sense to do that. So for me personally, it's not a need for me. You know what I mean? Now, if they would have threw a little man in the form of a Starfield logo and some things with a
Felt like
one
a missed
terabyte,
opportunity with that little bit.
I agree. I get people like black consoles, but bro, like you missed the opportunity, in my opinion, unless you're holding out close to release, to throw little man with that nice Constellation coat of paint, that nice NASA punk astronaut energy, slap the 1 tera on, boom, he would have been a go. That's just me. So that's where I'm at with it.
I feel you on that. But new hardware coming at a suspicious time. Again, Series S 1 terabyte SSD, $349 this time around. So interesting price hike there, but more options for sure.
Absolutely.
So last thing, Cog, we get all of that, right? We get the whole entire meal. And then Todd comes in and says, well, wait, there's dessert. Would the waiter version of Todd steps up. Would you care to be interested in our dessert menu? And Cog's dressed for the occasion here. I'm dressed. I'm wearing my Barkfield shirt
Oh, I
underneath
got your
this
box
suit.
shirt. I see you. I
Yes,
see you.
sir. You know how it rolls. So, look, man, this Starfield Direct, that is so nice. Where did you get that shirt? They give it to you?
Exclusive. No, this was you got the it was like the fan
Oh,
fest event, but you had to buy it. Like this is not
oh,
giving
okay,
it.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. I was like, bro, I got to have this right here.
Yeah. Oh, in the back got the constellation. Oh man, I'm so
Yes,
jealous.
let's go.
So jealous.
Woo.
Anyway, God, Starfield
Let's
Direct
go.
shows up. 45 minutes of not just Todd Howard. In fact, very little of him. Just Bethesda Game Studios, which I thought was kind of nice to shine some light on some other well-known employees like Istvan, Emil, and so on and so forth. Angela, list goes on. Dude, holy shit. This game
Bro.
looks, the way I would define it is impossible. It looks impossible. How is this real? What a magnificent looking game. I don't know where to start. I mean, bro.
Bro. Like, look, this is not hyperbole. Look, I was talking a lot. And I was talking a lot because I know the history and I know this company, this team, Todd, from Morrowind to Oblivion to Skyrim, Fallout, this team is literally is the soundtrack to my life as far as RPGs. No one does it better. So on a base level, I'm confident there. There's these rare moments when you see something and you go, how is this possible? Now let's get it right out. Let's get the quote unquote negative out, right? We just obviously, as we started to record this, the news came out 30 FPS. I'm going to be,
I didn't see that coming.
like, while I'm watching it, there's moments when they go to third person and I saw the spread and I'm like, yo, maybe it's not 30. Maybe it's faster than 30. It looks, really cool. But I'm like, Cog, 30. Look at what this is doing. Look at everything that you are doing to have this consistent 60. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying this is real scope. And there's a lot of you comment boys were like, oh, I remember me and you were saying the scope of these games, the system and stuff. I don't understand. They haven't shown anything, right? And rightfully so at the time prior to this showcase, we never got a level of deep dive the way we just did. But if you walk away from this showing and you are not impressed with the scope of what this game is doing, there is nothing this game is going to do to impress. You just don't like these style of games. That's just all I can tell you. Because to me, to walk away from that, even if you want to nitpick or say, oh, it could have been faster or whatever, it's 30. Bro, not only was the combat tremendously improved, I'm talking about the visceral hitting. I'm talking about jumping into the air, sky boost. I'm talking about the melee build where you hitting them with the gut punches, you knock them. I'm talking about the gunplay. Like, bro, like a lot of my fears were initially answered. We're talking about skyboxes. We're talking about scope. We're talking about planets. We're talking about, for me, let me tell you where I lost it. This game is like 5 games in one to me. Maddie, I grew up on this game called Wing Commander, which was
Okay.
literally spacefaring combat. You get your ship, you're in it. Some cinematics, minor choice, but it's a lot of dogfighting in space against higher, class ships than what you fight. Bro, there was a section because this thing went long and they didn't show that yet. And I'm like, man, I want to know how that is. Like, do they do that? When they got into it and they said you can board their vessels and seize them. Bro, you can come. And then the chick came out, the developer chick. She's like, yeah, I just like to rob people. I like just to go pirate. I just like to go take and steal and ravage and rumble and do whatever I want in the galaxy. Yes, there's repercussions sometimes. And then with the complexities of, hey, if you're the same religion as a group of convoy ships, you might be able to negotiate peace. Sometimes it's beef and space. Like just space in that capsule was Wing Commander. Then I saw the mining and planetary exploration that gave me No Man's Skies vibe. But you don't want to necessarily get into the wildness. You just want to get your resources, do your colony, your base building. Then the ship builder. Dudes is making Gundam style. Like, I don't even know what to start with this game. Like, it got to the point, Maddie, when I'm watching this thing, what can't Starfield do in the game? with Star. They showcased so well, and what I love what they did was excellent. Was they went through every developer. It's like, hey, what's your favorite part of Starfield? What do you like to do? What's going on? I like this build. I like, and then you know when I started to smile for you when I saw the perks and I saw the skill trees and I started to see the checks, and I'm like, I wonder what Maddie's thinking, bro. This one for me, I'm not exaggerating. I was so in my feels of how impressed I was. I ain't go front, Maddie. Like little grown man tears started to happen. Like I go respect God how it name. Like, bro, y'all not again. If you don't like it, you just don't like these style of games. But if I got people hitting me in the DMs like, yo, Cog, I'm not going front. I was not that interested in Starfield. I wasn't sure what it was. After this showing, they were like, bro, I am thoroughly invested. I'm going to stop talking because there's so much to talk about. I want to give you some time here. We are Bethesda children. We are children of Bethesda. Oh, by the way, spoke to Pete Hines after the fact. Pete Hines after the fact. We had a nice whole talk conversation. I spoke to Pete Hines the day before, and he was just like, look, we're dying to show this to you guys. We want to know how you think. And I'm like, look, man, I'm pulling for you guys, but we got to see, right? Spoke to him after, and he's just talking about, if you love the classic Bethesda sensibilities. He's like, look, just because you put the points in the system doesn't mean you're going to automatically have those levels of the perk. You've got to do things like the classic Bethesda. You have to actually do the things that you are working on with repetition to build up said skill. The way he broke it, I forgot he was talking about space combat, and like you can't just take on all these higher class ships than you based on you trying to pump something things in a certain skill. It was just the things of attention to detail that really, really resonated with me. But no, I'm done bloviating because I got more to say. I don't want to take up this whole damn segment because I will not stop talking.
No,
I am in a euphoric state right now. Like you have no idea. I am grown man tears euphoria right now, and I'm trying to calm down. So, Maddie, what was your impressions of Starfield, please?
Oh man, bro, the way I put it, I have some notes here.
That's good.
Is it feels like all of the best parts of every Bethesda Game Studios game for the last 20 years has a little bit of its DNA put into Starfield. What I mean by that is the scope and the level as you go gameplay systems of Skyrim are here. The insane creature and weapon designs of Fallout 3 are here. The biome diversity and dialogue of Oblivion has made its way. The background and the RPG elements that are lighter from Morrowind have made it here in that classical sense of recognizing who you are, how you started your life. The resource management of Fallout 76, like with its settlements, or in this case, outposts, carrying it into shipbuilding, into item and weapon crafting, and how they've made these planets more meaningful because of it. Even the gunplay of Fallout 4 and some of its procedural elements have made its way into this game. And because of that, it feels like this magnum opus moment where it's like they've done everything they possibly could with this game, where even if it sucks, I can look at it and say, they didn't spare any effort on this. They put every ounce of themselves into this game. And that's why with the news at 30 FPS, I'm not too chuffed about it, because honestly, I expected it. But number two, I always say, if your ambition is at a certain level, I'll bend the knee. Not because I don't care about frame rate, but I'll bend the knee because when you space travel, customization, open worlds, quests, companions, all of these things in one and more that we haven't even scraped the surface on, I can deal with 30 frames. As long as it's solid. There were times we saw in the trailer, it dipped. Found that a little bit concerning. Todd is claiming it's locked. Famous last words, Todd. Developers got to stop saying it's locked because we know it ain't going to be locked. But I will say, from what I saw, to say impressive would do it a disservice. It was awe-inspiring, and it's lining up to be, as I said, This game is going to be that next Elden Ring. I warned everyone. I said, when Starfield comes around, no, bro, Bethesda jank.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure about that? I don't say that to flex on their behalf. Are we really sure that this game isn't going to have a takeover moment? Barring a significant technical level collapse, which could always be possible, if Starfield runs properly, this game will have an absolute crater type of impact on the industry where grandma going to come down the street and say, you're playing a Starfield? That's the type of shit you're going to get in your life now after this game. Just like when your boss, who's 35 and works as a headhunter, is talking about Elden Ring to you. It's like, you of all people? What? That's what this game's going to do. But enough about that and the theatrics of just how magnificent this game is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into the nitty gritty.
Let's do it.
Cog, if you were to pick one thing off the top of your head that you were like, I know there's a lot. There's one thing that just do it at a grab. That you went, I'm excited about that. We're going to use that as our leaping off point and just go from there.
I think, man, there's so many. I think the companion thing really compelled me because there was also, we didn't get a lot of that. And first I was going to say combat because the combat was so improved from the last showing. But I want to say the companions because obviously we know about the robot and stuff like that. We had him, but they were talking about as you go further in the story and the relationship building. And that part really resonated with me as a Mass Effect person, to have those relationships, to be able to find people who want to join your cause in certain establishments or, you know what I'm saying, locales in the thing. I thought that was really cool. So I want to start there with the character creation / companion component of who you are, your journey, what you do, and who you can link up with and who you can't. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, for me, man, yeah, I really did like how they expanded all of that because the starship felt like, I thought it was just going to be a vehicle, right? Like, okay, you're going to go from point A to point B. This is it. But when they made it almost this character into itself, not just through customization of the things you plug into it, but like you said, the people you gather. Like they showed quests of a guy like, hey, you're going to let me on your ship? And you see they got like their own set of stats that they, things they're good at that they can bring to the table. Like Fallout 4 settlement mode just felt very unrealized. This feels like that because it's got meaning behind it. It's like, okay, I found you on this planet. Oh, this guy's good at piloting stuff. Maybe we can get here quicker. I'm going to bring him into my starship. Like, bro, I'm right there with you because it goes beyond that. I felt like all the gameplay systems were expanded. Bro, the point system, I'm going to call it, where it's like diverting your power to certain things. What did you think about that? I thought that was way more complex than anything Bethesda's done before in the terms of their typical open world games. Usually it's just run, walk, talk, shoot, and loot, right?
Yeah.
Those are kind of the design philosophies in the gameplay. But this was like, no, if you shift the power over to your grabs, you can jump space quicker. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Quicker fast travel. But then you can move it to your cannons. You do more powerful shots, but you might sacrifice some handling. I was like, this is like moment to moment action gameplay that we've never seen from them. So I was blown away by that completely.
Absolutely. Again, I didn't think that component would be that deep. I just thought it was something, going to be additive. You may have like canned sections. No, this is you out in the great frontier. And what I liked is, again, what made me fall in love with Bethesda games is you creating your own emergent gameplay and play it the way you want and have your own stories. Just, again, I never forget that the section, I forgot who this developer was, a female. And she came out, she just said, look, all I like doing is running down on people or some pirate type joint or exploring uncharted type territories. But to your point, the complexity with saying, hey, I want to divert the way my shields are to, and the way that the ship controls, and that plays into a style of play. Like that's next level to me. And again, that component in space is a game within itself that I know I will be thoroughly addicted to. And we haven't even talked about like the colonizations and the settlements and that, and bringing that stuff up. And that seemed like, I don't know if I'm that guy, because that's more of the 76, I mean, the Fallout guys, Fallout
Mm.
4 kind of guys stuff. But I was willing to try it. I mean, even the design of the ship itself, you saw them building Gundam style, robot style ships. You saw
Yeah.
them, the creativity was just immense. The scale is just, wow. Like it really, again, not to get into, hyperbole, but it goes to show you the years and years of A Team Bethesda, what they could be capable of with resources, with budget. And it's immense. Like you said, barring any, oh my God, completely technically broken when we play said game, this is
Mhm.
shaping up to be the next thing. It is a culmination of all their work. And we still haven't talked about everything, but man, like we got to just talk real quick. The
Go for it. Go for it.
combat, the part where there's areas of zero G and you got to use different weapons and propulsions to move around and you're just floating around in space. Like, that's insane to me. Like, it's just so much to it. But go ahead. Again, I will keep on talking. Like, this game is crazy to me.
Yeah, I think for me, I'll throw out there the cities were another major grab for me. When I saw, Neon, New Atlantis, Oculus City, so much Mass Effect energy is packed into this game, which was really awesome to see
Yes.
because we both have a strong adoration for Mass Effect, but when you get that with like the God Howard Bethesda Game Studios touch to it, just hits different, bro. It really does. And I just think that combined with the people within it makes it all the more interesting. Like they showed this faction called Red Mile. It's in this like derelict, snowy satellite station, and they have these cool face tattoos. I was just like, who are these people? And I haven't had that feeling from a Bethesda Game Studios in a while. Like, who are you? Like, I want to learn more about you. So, like, the major factions they got here are also very tantalizing. And it tastes a little bit sweeter right now, Cog, because, after 76, it's almost like I always appreciated what Bethesda brought me, but I appreciate it a lot more now knowing what it's like to not have any of that personalization handcrafted right there before us for us to enjoy and replay over and over and over. So that was a major one. And when you saw the companions, like one of them is voiced by Adam Jensen, the guy who's like, I never felt any way about anyone quite like this. I love you. I was just like, okay, Adam, okay, sign up, sign up. And that kind of gets me into the graphics. Like, but Bethesda, when I looked at, there's this one shot, I put it on my Twitter account. There's this one shot of, I believe her name is Sarah Morgan. Yeah, Sarah Morgan in Starfield. And she looks incredible. Like the lighting, the focus. I'll link the tweet right now so you can see what I'm talking about. But the game's a looker too, on top of all of this, where again, I'm willing to bend my knee to 30 frames if we're actually going to keep it stable. I don't believe locked, but if it's going to be mostly stable, I can get behind that.
No, I feel that. I feel like, I'm looking at that pic and insane stuff, man. Yeah, like this is, they did that, man. That's all I can say. I mean, again, it became with each subsequent information drop that team did with this game, you got deeper and deeper and deeper. I actually like you said, the different bio. I actually like seeing the alien creatures and having him dealing with that. Your character dealing with that in these different biomes. I thought that was really cool. The skill sets, the advantages of some of the, I think it was the traits or the perks, where there was like some were hilarious, like some really fun. If you remember, like some really fun trade offs and shout out to the one where you like the superstar that got the fan that stalks you, and he's like, I want to be down with you.
Yeah, the adoring fan. We love the adoring fan.
Oh man, gave me a lot of Mass Effect energy there. It's so much, man. It really is so much, and I just felt good for that team. I felt good for that team, for the sense it felt like validation to who they are. This is what we know you to be. And again, they still got to execute. We know. We still got to launch. We know. But from what we've seen, and now that the veil is off, so to speak, and we get to see everything about this game, I don't think you can come away not realizing this is pure grandeur. This is pure scope on the highest level, RPGing on the highest level. And they're really shooting for something extremely ambitious, and it looks like they're going to pull this thing off. That's how it felt to me.
Yeah, it felt like a special game. And that's all we could really ask for. You know, when you have such high stakes for it, you just hope that it can at least be a good game. But like, this looks to go above and beyond. I'd like to get a bit more into the skills and traits, because they showed to me that the skills weren't just necessarily a defining factor solely to your character in the terms of play style. Like, they were a support piece, where the main thing that defined you were your traits and your backgrounds. Because like, there was one where you're a beast hunter and you were able to like navigate a mission that way. There was persuasions. You know what was the biggest biggest breath of fresh air for me was that, God, man, they finally started to introduce multiple routes to how you get around things. The stealth gameplay actually looked good. They showed a silencer on a pistol. They showed someone crawling around some vents with a knife in hand. I'm just like, yo, hold up. This is not the Bethesda Game Studios I know. And that's what gave Starfield its identity. Is I mentioned it poured all these things in from previous games, but it was the elevation, the evolution that gave it its identity on its own. It's like, this on a technical level is so far much more impressive than Starfield. And it kind of threw me back, because Todd talked about a new animation system in the middle of this, or maybe it was Angela. Someone talked about a new animation system in the middle of this gameplay reveal, right, during the direct. And I remember years ago, I think this was like just post 76, Todd Howard sat down with Ted Price from Insomniac to talk in an interview about just what they're up to in games. And Todd mentioned at the time that they made a brand new animation system. And I remember all of us were saying, that's got to be for Starfield. To see it in action with the uppercut, the punch, like the hand-to-hand combat actually looking good.
The melee build was crazy. Yeah.
I was looking at it thinking, this is so, I say it with all love and respect, because I don't think Bethesda games needed to be technical powerhouses to achieve what they wanted to do. Skyrim isn't a pretty game in the traditional sense. It's pretty because of its skyboxes. It's pretty because of its sense of wonder. It's pretty because of its vistas. It's not pretty because I pick up my bottle and I'm like, yo, I can see every frame of plastic on this thing. That's not how it rolls. But somehow Starfield has managed to be easy on the eyes, up the ante on its animation technology too, and makes things like Melee look more appealing than someone just dragging a big wooden log around in the wind. It's like there's actual heft and weight to it. I mean, bro, go back, y'all, and watch this uppercut to the gut that hits a dude so hard he flies out and his jetpack blows up. Like, that's the impact that's been missing from BGS games. I think they got the shooting down in Fallout 4. They've evolved it here in Starfield. I will give myself a W, because I did tell y'all, I said to everyone that I think the shooting wasn't going to be as bad as folks are worried about with the gameplay last year. The reason I said that was because it's like starting off with a pipe pistol in Fallout 4 and basing all of the shooting on that vertical slice, where the pipe pistol is the worst gun to handle in that game. It's as you get deeper in the game, you get the combat shotgun, you get the assault rifles, you start to augment your builds more and more, you craft the weapon, you make it what you want to be. That's where you really feel the shooting out. And I mean, dude, there were some weapons here that were super diverse, like super futuristic, like double barrel assault rifles that were shooting lasers. And man, the detail even carries into the gravity. If you shoot guns with bullets in a zero gravity segment, you start to float backwards. And they end it with the Force. You get to use the fucking Force. And they're like,
for saying that.
And masterful work. Whoever had that idea, give them a whole ass raise, a bonus, everything. They ended it with that and said, yep, we had so much to show you, and we still have more to show you. Dude,
Bruh.
after everything that was there, I went, I'm sold. I've been sold. You can have my firstborn, Todd. I don't give a fuck. Just give me this game. And then this man shows me the force. Lord have mercy on my soul, man. I could not believe what they have cooked. Masterful.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I know I went off for a while.
No. You cooking.
How it
You
was.
cooking.
It chained and chained.
You're cooking, man. I mean, that's what I was gonna end with that too, because one thing we know that they kept stressing NASA Punk and based on grounded in reality on some levels, but to see the supernatural or whatever, it's like force type power really took it till now. Okay, we may have some type of mystical energy aspect to it, and I still think they're holding out on narrative in terms of maybe potential aliens or something else. So, like, I still think they're still keeping the main narrative stuff close to best, that mainline quest, right? But I think what they wanted to show you was how grand the skybox and what we love Bethesda games is how you could be completely immersed and lost into it. One thing I want to shout out is the procedural generation of the worlds when they were saying that I can go to planet Zeta or whatever in whatever Starling system, and Maddie can go to the same planet, but not necessarily have the same exact experiences based on said generation. That was interesting to me. And I thought that
That
added.
exciting to you, though.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Absolutely.
I'll have some
Because again, this is where the No Man's Sky aspect, so to speak, kicks in for me, where it's like, you're going to have, if this system executes in the way that they have described, right? And it becomes now these social moments where it was like, yo, I found planet Zeta on blah, blah, blah system. Oh, word, I found that, planet 2. This is what happened to me, though. This is, what I'm saying? I'm very, obviously it's going to be, I feel in theory, there will be some things that are set from a quest standpoint that will be the same. But I do like that idea. And again, if they can pull this off, because this is super ambitious, we have to see how that plays out. But I like the idea of it. I'm not going to lie to you. I do like the idea of it. So that to me is when your game gets into that, what I consider zeitgeist energy, where people start putting up, and they do have a photo mode, because remember, they was going hard with that. Like they know what they're doing. Like, to me, that goes into, you're going to see people putting up their experiences in said planet or said thing. And that excites me. I really, that's where it gets into that Elden Ring kind of territory a little bit, as far as where you are and the stuff. And that's what Bethesda games do, so yeah, I'm hyped, man. I'm
going to have to disagree on one front.
Let's go.
I find the procedural generation of the planets concerning.
Really?
And it's no longer just from terrain.
Okay.
Because now they showed it in content. And to me, it almost felt a little tone deaf, because 76 showed, we love your worlds and we love the people within them, because like any game, you make them, a part of yourself is there. We get to experience that reflection of your life in the game, or just a cool story. When you're showing me the same planet and they're panning that camera and you see one location and it goes behind the back and then it pops out again and it's a different location in the same spot based off you playing the game and me playing the game, and we just get different worlds, that to me is concerning, because I don't want to play a game made by a machine. Okay. I know that they said they do handcrafted content. There's more in this game, but this is where quantity over quality hurts, because in my opinion, it never needed to be like that at all. Shrink the amount of planets. If you say we got over 500, that's a huge selling point. But it's almost like they had to hit 1,000 and find a way to fill that with interesting things. And so that is a concern of mine, actually, with this, is I saw that and I was like, bro, like, that this is that you, when another settlement needs your help, I'll mark it on your map energy. It's like, no. Preston Garvey has been retired since 2015. We did not want a bigger galactic level move on that front. That's not what we were looking for, Bethesda.
Okay. No settlement. Okay, I see where you're going.
And so it is a little concerning on that front. Now, the question becomes, and I don't know if I'm comfortable with this,
Mm-hmm.
well, how well can you hide it from me? Okay. How well can you hide from me that this is procedural? When will I catch the loop? At that point, the magic starts to disappear. Now, I'm not expecting them to go in with a game so large and ambitious and paint every corner. I was totally okay and defended. Like, yeah, if they're going to procedurally generate the planets, sure. But now the content within the planets, again, what makes this world, what's going to make this galaxy so fun to explore is who you will find. And if who I'm going to find most times is going to be a dude with a randomly generated name with the same set of voice lines recycled that can join my crew, that starts to wear off. And it does leave me a little worried on that front. That's probably my primary concern with the game. Not even frame rate, because to me, that disrupts the magic that this game can present to me. Now, it could also be a part of the magic, but as someone, Cog, who seemed to be excited by it, is what I'm saying speaking to you, or like what do you have to say back to it? I'm curious because I want you to bring me back to the side of the hype. Bring me to the light here.
No, it's not about light. I think you got a valid concern. I don't think your concern is off base about the procedural. I can see where you're coming from. I think for me, it's just more like I don't look at the whole game as an entirety as this procedurally generated AI thing. I think that there's going to be a certain component of it that is. And I think that when they're talking about space in that scope, that there is going to be some of that implemented. But I always feel that there is still a base core game that takes you to the path where you need to go, where there's that set finite end. I think this is just, hey, we can lose ourselves in this other aspect. Now, to your point, how complex is that? Is it rudimentary? Is it redundant? Is it, it's Orange Planet with this? You know what I mean? Like, I get your concerns, and especially from the questing standpoint, but this is where I'm gonna have to defer and lean on Todd's greatness right now, because for them to hype up this system the way they are, I would find it hard to believe that it is just something simplistic, that is just something so copy paste that it becomes boring. Now, granted, to your point, this is a big ask, right? We've never really seen anything like that done in any game. So, to your point, history's on your side that it hasn't been executed yet for us to have a template and say, yeah, see how they did it? That's the way you do it. This is uncharted territory. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not in the zone yet. I understand I'm not in the zone where you're at yet, but I understand your concerns. Make no time. I don't think they're not found. I'm just excited about the idea that we can go to uncharted worlds and that we may experience different things. There's a part of me that is excited about that. And we'll see. We'll see if they pull it off.
Yeah, like so here's where I would like be totally fine with it. So let's say they made a list, right? And they said handcrafted worlds, the rest of these are procedurally generated. If the procedurally generated worlds are very identifiable because they allow you to scan them before you land,
right,
problem's not even existing for me anymore because I can kind of just get around it. And they mentioned
I'm thinking. That's how I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking like when I play Mass Effect 2 and you go from planet to planet, you should launch your probe, you scan, and then some planets be like anomaly detected, right? That anomaly detected may be the procedural one where you go to, you know what I mean? Like that's how I look at it. But if you look at Ilium and, whatever those main planets in Massive, those were the main quests where the main things really happen and the big populace happen. I look at a side quest here and there. You may get a random thing here and there, but I'm just curious to see how they execute it, because to your point, it will be called out if it is, rinse and repeat, run and gun type, same type stuff.
And again, I think if that scanner says like life forms detected, or something that really identifies this is unique to this planet, that I think separation can really help the game from tripping over itself. Now, Cog,
what's up?
There's much more we can get into with this game, but I think in the terms of interesting talking points,
yes.
Let's talk business.
Let's talk business. Let's do that.
There was the controller, the headset, the collector's edition, but what drew my eye the most, sir, was another Duke W in the premium edition, which also has the same perks as the collector's edition. Your premium edition includes, for a $35 upgrade, 5 days of early access to Starfield, Shattered Space, the game's first story expansion, by the way, Constellation Skin Pack containing the Equinox laser rifle, spacesuit, helmet, and boost pack, and the digital soundtrack and art book. Lord Cognito, how the turns table.
Yes.
How we sat down to collect this glorious W once more. That Dukes warned people. We said with Game Pass, Forza Horizon 5 should have put people on watch. But here we are now, sir. So
here we are.
Your thoughts, Corporate Cog, on this shrewd business move by Xbox?
Well, if you want to play the latest and greatest by the God Howard, the God of the Western RPG, and if you want to be there 5 days earlier, guess what? We've got the package for you. You see this amazing briefcase we have for you? We see this amazing watch that you could play in game. You too can have this with 5 days early access and that story expansion that you know we're going to hit you with. Bruh, seen it coming. Seen it coming. This is the way. You double dip, you re-up, you go and get your Game Pass guys. Let's go wait. But for the epic ones, you know, guys like us, well, I'm going to say guys like me, I ain't waiting. Ain't no way 5 days early is outside and I'm sitting here waiting for this is the game of the year potentially for me. No disrespect, Tears of the Kingdom fans. I respect y'all. It's a great game, but now the kids have played and the men are here now. The men are here.
Game.
We had y'all time. This is for me. I'm selfish. It's about what I want. And this is the game for me. So I will be fine. I'm looking at it right now, $230. When it come with the Constellation editions. I'm on Best Buy right now as we're talking. I'm getting the watch. I'm getting all that steel case book, digital game download. At least it comes with the game. Thank you. Watch case. Constellation. Oh, yeah. We're doing that right now. Let's put that in the cart right now as we speak.
Yeah. I was trying to, but GameStop says you got to become a pro member. Like, okay, I know I have an account and I'm trying to sign in, and GameStop is dumb as hell. And whenever I try to sign in and ask for my email, they're not sending me anything, so I can't get in. So I go to Best Buy. Same problem as well. I'm like, yo, can't get in. Email. Not sending me anything. I'm like, my email works. I'm talking to everyone else right now.
No.
So I don't know what's good right now, but I could not get a hold of my collector's edition yet, which is, I'm scared, bro. I want to put my pre-order in. I don't care if it's 300 buckaroos.
I never even seen this. I just did it. They say you're in line for the three. They say they acted like I'm in an online queue to jump into. Bro, wait times can be up to a few minutes or longer based on product demand. Please stay on this. I'm literally in a queue on Best Buy right now. That's crazy. Starfield's outside right now, y'all.
Get Starfield's Collector's Edition, bro. People want it. It's going to sell amazingly well, bro. And especially Bethesda Game Studios has amazing collector's editions. Like, that's a 76. They've always done a really good job. But 5 days early access, you know what they're doing here, right? Times out really well with the Series S drop, but more importantly, man.
I'm in. Sorry, continue.
I'm glad, bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
hope you get that order.
This is unprofessional podcasting. I apologize, LSM community, but I have to do what I got to do right now. Keep talking, though. I'm listening.
This is business. We're talking business. Perfect time to do it. 5 day early access, though, bro. Like, this is, I mean, you can't look at Hogwarts Legacy and go, oh, they broke all these records on Twitch and on sales, and the game wasn't even out to the broader public. And if this is what we got to take to sidestep heavy monetization, forced microtransactions, I will give my knees to early access. I will have to do it because I was one who kind of pushed back. I said, Atlas, Sega was the first perpetrator. This relationship may be getting a little too close, in my opinion, because Sega was the first perpetrator to come in and say, yeah, you want that? Come pre-order 3 days early. It's like, okay. So a lot of people buy into that. And then you see smash hits. Diablo 4, most played Blizzard game on Xbox in the early access period when you pre-ordered it. And it was $90. So there's no way in hell Xbox, who's throwing multi-million-dollar projects from their first party into Game Pass, is not going to test this one out. And I wondered why they didn't do with Redfall. We got the quality of the game. Makes a little bit more sense. But now we're seeing there are going to be packages with these. Redfall did have a bite back upgrade package. Hi-Fi Rush even had a little premium package. So Starfield, the game in demand, the game that's going to be talked about a lot, the game that you who are going to try to sit there and muscle it out till September 6th is going to see on your Twitter feed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, fucking, I'm buying it 10 times. That's what's going to happen. And I'm not rooting for it because I would love for them just to drop it that day. But if this, we have yet to hear about mods. We have yet to hear about Creation Club. We have yet to hear about the marketplace that people are speculating about. But if this is to circumnavigate massive monetization coming into Starfield, I'm okay with it. Do I believe that's the case? Hell no. I just know Xbox is smart enough to collect their bucks. And as Cog would say, the shareholders in the room are looking around and saying, wait, you're telling me we can sell this for $100 a pop and we're going to sell millions a cop? What are we waiting for? Put that shit behind an invisible gate. The rest can get up later for 70. Or sign up for Game Pass. We're getting your money one way or another.
Because, yeah, bro, it literally sells itself, because if all your AAA bangers are now in Game Pass, right? And you know the FOMO is there. The base has proven they will consistently look at Diablo. People buying that early. Diablo proved it without a shadow of doubt. All that talk, I see my whole friend list like, yo, I bent the knee, bro, and I had to do that 5 days. So it proved it. The FOMO is real. When everyone's talking about it, you want to be part of the zeitgeist. And then here's the kicker: they come off as the angels. Oh, we're not. This is only if you want to do 5 days. It's still a Game Pass if you wait 5 days later.
Yeah.
You see, so you don't come off as a complete sleazeball for the person who can strongly hold out and be patient. But they know gamers, and gamers talk that talk, but they bend the knee when it's time. And yeah, my purchase just went through, so I'm good right now. Continue.
Yeah, bro. To me, it's unsurprising. It's unsurprising, but I feel like this is just the standard being set. More Xbox games. The Dukes need to be heard. For God's sakes, if y'all take anything away from this, take away that we warned you all. We said this was going to become a thing. You're going to get your premium upgrade editions because they're giving you the game as part of a recurring subscription service. And if you're there as a consistent customer, you're not bumping their numbers. But when you buy that $35 upgrade for the game you already got in Game Pass, now they're seeing a bump in revenue from you, the recurring customer. So this is, again, not to justify it, but if we're talking business, a business cog, a corporate cog, and business Maddie, whatever my business name's going to be, are being honest, this is a smart move. Now,
facts.
There's also this expansion, Shattered Space. So this game's going to get DLC for sure, which already they have one confirmed. I wonder if it hits before the end of the year. We'll see. They're saying expansion, which is pretty massive for a Bethesda game. And they're saying it's the first, as in there's more coming afterwards.
First expansion.
So if this is good, eat us more. It reminds me a lot of Fallout 4, bro. Before the game even released, we got a season pass with no details. They said, no details. More. Same shit here. Yeah, you're hyped for that Starfield, right? Yeah, we got more coming, but fucking know what it is, but it's coming. Shattered Space. Great alliteration, right, guys? Yeah, okay, let's do that. Double S. We love that. So, otherwise, though, Cog, so much to be said about Starfield. Is there anything else you wanted to sink your teeth into with this one, man?
I mean, just like I said, we hit most of the major stuff. Again, I'm glad you talked about the powers aspects. I did want to talk about that. There's just so much. Again, the scope is tremendous, and I cannot wait, man. I cannot wait to get. I really thought they did a fantastic deep dive. There's no way you walk away not having an idea of what Starfield now is, and I think they nailed it. I thought Bethesda's presentation style was great. They hit it out the park on every level, man. Again, salute to the team, the way they handled that. And I think developer directs, they just keep getting better and better. And this is the new Xbox that I like to see. I love to see them showcase well, and they did that. This is something Sony's always done historically well, and now I'm seeing Xbox up their game when it
Yep.
comes to the direct of their flagship titles. That's what I want to see.
100%. And I'm right there with you. Yeah. Just to see Bethesda have, minus a crowd, to have that kind of Fallout 4 level presentation again, where they come out and in a positive way, everyone's talking about them. It's amazing to see. I'm a huge fan of what they do, but I know a lot of the people there, and I can't say for sure because I haven't spoken to them, but I imagine many of them are very proud today, and they should be.
Oh yeah, bro,
What
you
they
saw it in their
showed,
faces.
what they showed was unlike anything we've seen before, and that's really difficult to say in today's space. Starfield does a little bit of everything, and I just, this is why people chose Starfield as that game. People had a feeling it'd be special. And I just hope it lives up to even a shred of that hype. Because if it does, we are going to have something special in our hands, man.
Don't let it do, because I'm going to be outside crazy. I'm already starting my chirping.
You already said 90 Metacritic, and COG's going to come out and be nasty.
I'm telling you, y'all not going to want to deal with me. I am not going to want to deal with me, man. I'm telling y'all right now, y'all going to put respect on God Howard's name. And I started putting it out there. I put the tweet out when I was like, bro, they showing out. I don't care what nobody said. And if you don't like it, God bless. This is not the game for you. But that's not how it was received by the masses. People were blown away. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
I've definitely seen some fanboys trying to drag this one down.
That's
At that point, it's not. It's more so you're choosing to be miserable. You don't have to like Starfield, but I don't know genuinely how you walk away from that showcase and not see something in there. You go, oh, that's cool.
Right.
And that you want to try to drag people down for enjoying it. That's insane to me.
We know what that is. We know what's going on.
Yeah,
with
we know.
It's just what color jersey you wearing is it links to your affection for something. That's all that go. We know how that go.
Ah, man. But that is it for the Starfield Direct, the Xbox Showcase. I just real quickly, Cog, wanted to get into my Game Pass pick of the week, and we'll kind of wrap this thing up because I know it's time for you to get some food in your stomach.
Gotta get some food. Gotta catch a flight soon.
Sure. Game Pass pick of the week. I chose Wasteland 3, and I thought this was a good time to do so because I know a lot of people are talking about Starfield. We're very familiar with the power of God Howard, but I do not want the absolute wizards at Inexile to be slept on in light of that. I was a little afraid of whoever has to come before Starfield has a little bit of an uphill battle in the terms of word of mouth because so quickly after we fire right into that Starfield Direct. So I wanted to encourage y'all to try this excellent post-apocalyptic RPG with co-op out called Wasteland 3. Comes from Inexile Entertainment, and it is one of the most replayable spiderweb choice and consequence games that you can experience. It is not going to give you a taste of what Clockwork's going to be like in the terms of gameplay, but if you want to experience the storytelling prowess of Brian Fargo and his narrative team, if you want to experience what Fallout was built off of, if you're having that Fallout hankering after seeing the disgusting 76 trailer and you're like, yo, I need some post-apocalyptic energy in my life, this is your game. And I know a lot of y'all have been sleeping on it because none of y'all write in about it. I know how it works. When you guys are enjoying something, you're hitting our lines here on the patron threads, telling me all about it. And I don't see one iota of Wasteland 3 respect being put out there. So this is your reminder. Whether you want to play this game by yourself or with a friend, highly recommend it. And if you're one of those people who says, I don't like strategy games, the locomotion, the quick movement, the snappy turns, how your enemy's turn all happens at once while yours is a little more methodical. It doesn't take the steering wheel away from you often. So even if you're not into these strategic style games, give it an honest chance, and I think you'll be very impressed. It also gives you a look at some of the technical upgrades they can do while it's an isometric style RPG. You could pull the camera in, and some cutscenes actually bring it in full detail, and characters look really good and fully animated. So you can get a feel of all this stuff in Wasteland 3 and all its expansions. I cannot recommend this enough. It came out in 2020. I felt it was horrendously slept on. I still feel it's horrendously slept on. So if you like Clockwork Revolution, you want a taste of the talent of this team, there is no better case example than Wasteland 3. That is my Game Pass pick of the week.
Beautiful, beautiful choice, man. Choice, consequence, turn-based goodness, even a cooperative component. Me and Addict stream that joint. A lot of fun, a lot of fun. That's a great pick. It's something people really. Expansions are really good too, big time.
Yeah. So please check it out. Again, Wasteland 3, Game Pass pick of the week. Even if you didn't like Clockwork Revolution, this is a wonderful co-op RPG. That, by the way, co-op does not hamstring the choices you want to make. Still extremely reactive game. One of the most I've ever played. I'd say it could be the most, but I've missed a lot of old school RPGs. So for my lifetime, definitely so. It's very impressive what Fargo and the team did.
Yes,
but that's it. That's it for Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, episode 127. If you ever need to do a time lapse of how long we've been doing this, just look at Cog's left window, or at least our left, as it's went from light to dark. And it's 11:30 p.m. where I am right now. So we've been going for a while, but we wanted to deliver an episode that was special for a very, I think, special showcase. To me, one of the best I've personally seen. I loved everything there. Definitely riding that high. Definitely that Cloud9 type feeling, man. But salute to Xbox. Salute to Bethesda. I feel spoiled, which I haven't felt as a gamer in a while. Especially as an RPG fan, I feel mega spoiled. Cog, any closing thoughts as we wrap up here?
Look, man, they did that. They did that. Salute to Xbox. Salute to the team. Salute to Bethesda. Again, all the offerings for delivering a solid show, and for the most part, hitting most of their marks. The Xbox fan base, in the streets, people are pumped, man. People were hype. I walked out. I try to gauge everybody. How you feeling? Oh yes. God, this is what I'm talking about. And any minor nitpicks, no one came out, at least from my perspective, in the building like, yo, we was disgusted or we didn't like anything from the standpoint of this is anything below an 8, kind of a show type of energy. It was just like nitpick energy at that point, but always still solid overall. And I thought they showed well. I thought they did well. I thought it was something that was sorely needed by the Xbox community to definitely bounce back after the Redfall situation. I think the future is bright. There's a lot of stuff on the horizon, and I can't wait, man. But it was really good to be a part of this and to see the energy with the community. So salute to the teams, everybody who showcased. First party came out in droves, and I'm ready to play a certain thing in September. That's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. Move your date.
Order received.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into a very special episode of Defining Duke and Xbox podcast. A reminder, if you got this deep, we will be back recording on Wednesday. The episode will go out for early access on Thursday. So we'll see you then, for those of you who are signed up on Patreon, for those of you who are available on free feeds, and you're going to see us on Sunday. So we'll be back to our regular recording schedule this week. Thank you for bearing with us as we had a bit of a gap in our schedule. Thank you for your continued support. I expect this episode to do well, so I'm going to thank you all in advance for killing it once more. And again, we'll kind of settle back in with all of the news that probably follows the fallout of this showcase and the Xbox Extended Showcase. So there's a lot here that we're going to talk about. And we can't wait for the next couple episodes because we have content for weeks now. It's kind of crazy. We went from starving to just being full of food. So with that, speaking of food, let's get Cog's belly filled. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we will see you next time for episode 128 of Defining Duke and Xbox Podcast. Peace.
No hashtag. We got a hashtag?
Oh.
We got to get a hashtag. We got to catch it before we peace.
Let's rewind.
Rewind real quick. What's the hashtag? What we doing?
God Howard. Yeah.
We doing God Howard DD?
Yeah. God Howard DD. Yo, good catch, y'all.
I got to get you.
Yeah, we people are looking at their watch right now. They're like, oh, man, I thought that was the exit time. Nope, not quite. So for those of you who get the hashtag, you were an attentive listener and we're thinking something was missing there. I'm only so on my game at 11:34 p.m. So anyway,
you good, bro. You
got this deep into the show and you want to share your thoughts, use the hashtag GodHowardDD. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on Twitter. I'm at G27status. That's @LordCognito. Again, hashtag GodHoward. Let us know your thoughts. And with that, one more time, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. We will see you next time for episode 128. Peace out.
Peace.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Colin's Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman, and the show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.